Hello. 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 I have this awesome piece of music by Jello Biafra, and talks about martial law and curfew. And I keep wanting to start the show with that, but I'm terrified. I posted it on the Mox News archive page, um, as like to see if it would get a copyright claim, which it got a copyright claim, but it did not get a copyright strike. It's still available, and I was gonna post it. I really want to start the show with it, but I'm afraid that it has music and that they have this thing about streaming live music and or streaming music, and I don't want that. It's right there. That's where it's at. It's still live. I just checked it and it's still live. So if you want to see that, that's the song that I want to start the show off with. So uh, because I love that piece. I have started many shows in the past with that music. In fact, long before there was a YouTube. So, and that brings us to today. Day number 3. No, it's day number 2 of self-quarantining as ordered by the governor of Washington State, Jay Inslee. And it's really not a shelter in place or a self-quarantine order. It's a stay home and stay healthy order. order. And partially the reason that I filmed this video was because I knew that Jay Inslee, actually I asked Craig to film this video, was because I knew that Jay Inslee would be ordering a stay in place or whatever, stay home and stay healthy order in the next couple days, because I could hear it in his voice that he was very upset about about seeing people out and about. Like we have, it's been beautiful here. So I could tell that he was very upset about seeing people out and about on the beaches. And so I knew it was coming. So I wanted Craig to film this because there were so many people together and stuff. And again, it's a beautiful day and the dogs are beautiful and the lake is beautiful. And I just wanted to share that with you. But again, I knew that this shelter-in-place thing was coming, so I wanted to share this and say, right now the Prime Minister of New Zealand is holding a press conference live right at this moment. Not to chase you guys away, but I bet she's announcing some kind of a stay-in-place measure at this moment. Yesterday, Boris Johnson, or yesterday, Boris Johnson announced a stay-in-place shelter kind of, all restaurants and bars closed kind of thing. And then today, I guess there was people all packed into the metro or whatever it is, the tube that they ride there, the subway, and people are kind of freaking out. So I I thought we should I don't know, I hate this coronavirus fear thing, but I want you guys to be safe, right? I don't want, I mean, it's like, like a couple days ago, I was talking about how we hadn't heard from Michelle for a couple days, and then I was talking about how we hadn't heard from Pete for like a week, so I worry about you guys because this fucking shit is so stupid and it never stops. and the police state just seems to be locking it down, locking it down. You know, here's all of our little, you know, fucking road stops in place to take your temperature. And I want people to be safe, and I want the authorities to do what they have to do. You know, I absolutely want people to be safe. But I hate to spread the fear. I hate to buy into the fear. And I hate to encourage anyone else to buy into the fear. I simply and so I have like this guilt about showing these coronavirus videos, you know, because it's fear, 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 and that is not what it is that I want to be doing. It's not what I want to be encouraging, and it's not, you know, I mean, this was just a couple of days ago. There's something going on with my stream. My stream keeps like stuttering and pausing. I don't know. Is the YouTube falling apart again? Oh, okay. Let's see. And you know, this is what I'm about. This is, you know, this is the way that I see the world right here with these beautiful dogs and this beautiful day. And we went out today and we walked around and there's more people walking around with their dogs than usual, which is nice, I guess. I mean, the dogs like it, I'm sure. Uh, you know, not. I mean, my dogs. They like seeing other dogs. They're always happy about that, unless the dog's a dick, which is usually a reflection of their owner. Not always, though. Often really hard to take care of dogs or rescued by people who really want the dogs to have a decent life, which is very, very kind of them. So, wow, you can't watch it on that resolution. I'm trying to see if I can play this back at somewhere where I can watch it and it doesn't like stutter. At 720, it stutters, man. I don't know what you know, we have really good internet here. I don't know. They're saying that the internet usage is off the charts at the moment, which, you know, obviously makes a lot of sense. You know, and and again, one of the things that I want to make happen here is to touch bases with you guys and say, hey, you know, I went out and walked the dogs today and it was a beautiful day, which is exactly what I did. Went out and walked the dogs. We had a very nice walk. We didn't go to the lake. You know, it's a lucky day when we get to go to the lake. But we had a very nice day. I just pulled a batch of brownies out of the oven. How much better can it get than that, right? So all I'm saying is, you know, life, you gotta always look on the bright side of life. Always look on the bright side of life. I'm not. I gotta lick my lips before I whistle. That would probably be a better plan. Did anybody look at that song that I wanted to play at the beginning? Man, I love that song, you know. Anyone out past curfew will be shot. That movie in particular is a masterpiece. The meaning of life is really is that the meaning of life, or is that that's the life of Brian, huh? Always look on the that's what That's when all the guys are hanging on the crucifixes and they're doing the can-can. Always look on the bright side of life. Is that what that is? I'm just whatever. Wilco, you changed your icon. You have an SOS flag now. Are you reaching out to the world for help? Is my microphone way too low? Oh, no, it looks pretty good. Let's see. I better check and make sure that people are getting their calls through. Craig, are people getting their calls through? That's the second call I saw. Is it trolls? Are trolls calling, Craig? What's happening? Trolls. Oh well. Oh well. Alright, so I have a fuck ton of videos. I don't know how many of them we'll get to. Yesterday we got to almost all of them, but there was quite a few less, and we didn't get to two of them. So I'm not sure how many we will get to today. Or where to start. Let's see. Should we start with the head of FEMA interview? How he's opening his FEMA camps and getting ready to... Amy Klobuchar's husband, Senator Amy Klobuchar's husband, has been diagnosed COVID-19 positive. So I have an interview with Amy Klobuchar. Oh, and apparently there is a rumor going around that Donald Trump is going to announce martial law in the next 2 weeks. So I thought we should probably start there.
While a growing number of cities and states are ordering more people to stay at home, President Trump continues to rule out a national quarantine. Still, many people are getting texts and social media posts that claim the president is on the verge of doing that. St. Clair's investigative reporter Dwayne Pullman sorts out this latest rumor making the rounds.
You might want to put down that smartphone because the texts you may have received or the posts you may have read telling you we're just days away from a national quarantine are fake. This post on Facebook, making the rounds for more than a week, claims military friends up in D.C. are saying the president will order a 2-week mandatory quarantine for the nation within 48 to 72 hours. It urges stock up on whatever you guys need to make sure you have a 2-week supply of everything, which may explain in part all that toilet paper hoarding and panic buying at stores across the country. The post, along with countless other versions and texts, are wrong. How do I know? The White House National Security Council sent this tweet on March 15th stating, text message rumors of a national quarantine are fake. There is no national lockdown. And while President Trump says he may need to call for a quarantine in the future, in numerous news conferences, the president says he doesn't think it's needed now. Also, if you look closely, Facebook is now attaching a fact-check feature, which points out false reports. Yet the fake posts continue and rumors persist. At a time when there's so much anxiety about real news, it's important not to fall victim to people who simply want to pile it on. I'm Dwayne Pullman in Cincinnati.
I also see the world like this, in case anyone's wondering. I just want to point that out because, you know, when they come out and they start saying, oh, this is stupid what these people are saying in social media, it's like immediately this thing in my head says, oh, me thinks she does protest too much, which is just, I know it's a stupid line, but there's alarm bells that go off in my head saying, well, if this is just a dumb rumor, then why do you need to come out and start telling people about this dumb rumor that they probably never would hear about if it wasn't for you telling them about it right now and that it's not true? Right? So I thought that was important news. When they start telling you, this isn't true, don't worry about what they're saying here, this is stupid, this is some conspiracy theory, there's a problem. Not that I'm encouraging fear again, or that somehow we are headed that direction. I'm just saying, I can't trust anything the media says. And when they go out of their way to say, oh, this is really stupid, you shouldn't listen to people like this, it seems like a big red flag. If you look at the media in that way, in this way that is, they're not here to tell us the truth, and somehow, like I say, them going out of the way to say, oh, this is dumb, don't pay attention to this. Nothing to see here, folks. Move along. Right? All right, so I believe we were just about to take a caller. This is a call-in show, and we love taking callers. So, and today, I believe yesterday, the governor ordered a shelter in place. Now, stay at home and stay safe. So today we're live self-quarantining on day number 2, and we'll see how long the live self-quarantining will go on. But remember, this is really what my day looks like. I'm not self-quarantining. I'm not out amongst a bunch of people, but I'm out on a day like this, and I'm walking through basically a rainforest that has basically been carved out of and made into a suburban neighborhood. But I mean, that has basically been carved out of and made into a suburban neighborhood. Craig, you have to tell them to shut their shit off, dude.
I'm just trying to irritate you, man.
You're really fucking with me, dude.
So, is this Mike?
Huh?
Is this Mike?
Can you hear me?
Hello?
What's happening?
I don't know, man. I'm all confused. I'm like one day I'm certain that it's a government plot. Then the next day I hear it's coming from penguins. Penguins. I think the virus came from penguins.
It's pangolinians.
No, man, that's from Star Wars. Penguins, they waddle around and they wear tuxedos.
Not penguins.
Penguins. The virus came from penguins.
Pangolins.
Penguins. So I don't know, man. I changed my mind since yesterday. Then I'm listening to the, what do we got to do except smoke dope, clean our houses, go out, get a pack of cigarettes, hunt some wild toilet paper. That's about all everybody's doing now. Is like people are running through the fields near my house, or they got breechcloths and spears and fucking two-legged 4-pack toilet papers running through the bushes, and they get these homemade bow and arrows, and it's like fucking the whole world's gone mad, man. You can't catch wild toilet paper.
You know, I'm telling you right now, if they fucking keep up this fucking bullshit hype, there's gonna be people shot in the fucking store over goddamn toilet paper, man.
I would guess those would be the big cities. I live in a small little city, but yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I mean, you know,
I've already seen brawls over fucking idiot shit over a 6-pack of toilet paper.
Oh yeah. And so, yeah, it's. I don't know what to believe, man. It's. I was just watching old Joe Rogan show, 2-week-old Joe Rogan with the expert on. He says, no, nature produces these viruses all the time. You know, it's not a government leak and from a lab. So, you know, but if these guys are so smart, how come they don't know those 2 buildings were blown up in New York right in front of our eyes? You know, it's like, where are all the experts about that? You know?
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I don't know, man.
I hear you. I completely look. You ask anybody who's in a position of power about the buildings that got blew up, and they'll tell you, I don't know what you're talking about.
Right? Yeah. A thousand times we
yeah.
can. So that's really disgusting too, because it's harder to be a virologist than it is to understand steel frame buildings. You know, it's pretty simple to understand. Hey, you know, you can't fucking crash a plane into a building and then it's just going to fall down an hour later. You know, because it starts a fire. You know, the melting temperature of steel is easy to memorize. You know, and the heat of office fire is easy to memorize, and then it's easy to look up the actual building of the World Trade Centers and see, oh my God, look at the fucking center structure of that motherfucker. Nothing could ever bring it down. And oh my God, 2-inch thick walls on the beams at the bottom, 2-inch thick. And look at all those trusses, and look at cross braces, and you know, that building is built.
And look at the firemen saying it looked just like a controlled demolition. Boom, boom, boom.
Right. And then look at the molten metal coming out of the building.
Yeah.
Oh, just like a waterfall, pouring out of the building like a waterfall. Where does that... Oh, the desk was on fire, and it created molten metal. No, I don't think so, dude. And then you look at the experts, Chris Boleyn being one of them, and the people he knows, and you know, you've got some type of a molecular signature on the explosive, what do they call it? What do they call it that cuts through beams, Michael?
Thermite.
Thermate, yeah, not thermite. Thermate is the nano version of thermite. So thermate was used, and that has a government signature on it. They could even trace it back to the lab it was created in. So, you know, there's so much evidence, and it doesn't take a genius to figure that out. I just happened to have been a steel worker when I was 22 and 23, and then I switched. They closed that company down, and I switched to masonry. I married the daughter of the biggest masonry contractor in Ventura County, and that guy kicked my ass for 2 decades. So I happen to know, you know, I read steel blueprints. When I was 22, I was reading steel blueprints, and I know how tough those motherfuckers, those buildings are. So I have a little bit of an advantage, but I don't really think it takes a genius to understand the structures of steel frame buildings, especially the World Trade Center. But I'm having a tough time with the virology thing because I never took chemistry. I don't.
Well, you know what's really hard to understand is shit just turning into fucking dust, you know? I mean, buildings don't just, unless they're fucking vaporized, you know, by some type of an explosion, they don't just turn into fucking dust, you know? And that's what happened.
You will notice that the Lawyers Committee and the architects and engineers kind of ignore the Judy Wood theory of the advanced Tesla technology stuff. And I think that's a smart move because they're just going to, they're putting the lawsuit through court right now. And they don't want to come across as, Star Trek theorists, got advanced weapons, ray gun coming out of space. You really don't want to.
I'm not suggesting anything like that. I'm just saying there's no way these buildings crumble into little pieces, perfect little pieces like that without without an extensive fucking plan to make it happen. I mean, they're designed to hold together. Maybe something might have broke and fallen off, and then it would have held together when it hit the ground.
Right.
But all that fell to the ground were little fucking pieces.
20-foot pieces, yeah.
Yeah.
Every other floor, at least.
That doesn't happen.
Right.
Unless it's very well planned.
Yeah, you mentioned dust, though, so I thought you were referring to the justification theory of Judy Wood, Usually when people mention dust, that's what they're talking about. But actually, there's so much dust created with the explosive charges, and they are explosive. They're both they cut through metal and they explode through metal. So that, and what happened to the each floor was 4 inches of concrete, So why did so much concrete dust, and why was so much dust created? Those buildings were literally...
Yeah, and a floor isn't just concrete. It has fuck tons of steel in it. You can't just make a floor out of concrete. You have to put fucking steel all throughout it like a web, like a spider web.
Right, yeah. And
steel doesn't just fall apart when it's connected all by fucking cement. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah, you're talking to a guy who's poured 1 million miles of concrete, and I've also been a steel worker, and I know how to, when I design something, I way over-engineer it, I throw a lot of steel in shit. So, I know what you're talking about. But this thing about the virus... I'm such a dumb fuck when it comes to my theory about staying healthy is like, fucking just be strong. That's my entire theory of being healthy. Take your vitamins, be strong, eat chicken soup. That's all I know. So I'm going back and forth with all this.
Eat marijuana.
I have been. You know what I did?
No, what did you did?
I stuck it in my soup. I figured
that works. This works.
Oh, it works so good, man.
Yeah.
Fuck, I'm still stoned.
What, from last night?
From last night, yeah.
Sweet.
So and I'm sleeping like a baby, and it's like, what time is it? I wake up at 5 p.m. It's like, oh my god.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm. My oven. I haven't fixed my oven because
that's one of the things that really helps you fucking gain your regenerate too, is sleeping. So if you can get a little extra sleep in these times when we have a little bit of extra time, it's not that it's not what time well spent.
Yeah, literally, the sleep factor is so important to your psychological well-being, and it's no matter how tough you are physically and psychologically, and no matter how well you know yourself, if they stick the strongest guy in the world in a torture chamber, eventually that guy is going to break, because we're just fragile machines. We're human machines, and our minds are very susceptible to all sorts of torture and all sorts of brainwashing. And it doesn't matter if you're Hercules or the Hulk or some genius. They start torturing you, they can break your mind. So sleep is a very important factor in keeping your physical and psychological well-being. And the mind is a very tricky business. No matter how well you know yourself, there's oceans and oceans and oceans of subconscious stuff you're never really going to know, no matter how well you know yourself, so sleep is a pretty important factor. And then a guy like you could speak more eloquently than me on the benefits of mushroom therapy or DMT and marijuana. I've been smoking dope my whole life, but really it's quite different to eat it, like for me in soup, for you in brownies. But there seems to be a calming psychological benefit to it. But I'm kind of brand new to it, so talk to me in a month. Maybe I'll be completely batty. I'll be I'll be voting for Donald Rumsfeld.
Well, we'll see if there's not going to be a vote, dude. Don't worry about it. Voting's off. There's no election anymore.
That's your prediction, huh? When is the election?
In November, first week in November. I'm not sure what day.
February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. That's 9 months, dude. That's a pretty far out prediction. That's 9 months out.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Here's what I see: I see more and more government shutting everything down. So.
Yeah. But we could be out in the streets with guns by that time.
Yeah, well, the thing is, once they shut it down, once they take
I like that chick.
Know what they say. Once they take that power away, they don't ever give it back.
That's true, and we both know it's true. So that's why we're talking, because I'm pretty concerned about that. It's like, man, this is the biggest event in human history other than World War II, I guess. This is actually bigger than 9/11.
We'll see.
Yeah, this is World War III, some weird viral kind of World War III where everybody's just watching TV. It's 1984, and
well, I want to recommend, since everybody's watching TV, I want to recommend the movie V for Vendetta, because that's what this what's going on right now is exactly what V for Vendetta is all about. It's about a bioweapon that was released.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just watched a clip from that within the hour, and I think you have to pay for the movie. You can't find it on YouTube for free like you can a lot of movies, but it's well worth the...
Yeah, well, lots of people have movie services and stuff,
Yeah.
Like Netflix or whatever. It was on Netflix forever. I don't know if it still is or not.
It's a cult classic. It's one of the great revolutions.
That movie had to be postponed from being released because it was supposed to be released like 2 weeks after 9/11, and it just hit way too close to home for what was happening. It was like the government conspiracy and all that shit, and it's like, we're going to have to push this back a minute. I'm really glad they didn't shelve it forever.
They didn't shelf it forever? How could they do that? Only the owner could shelf it forever.
Yeah, things happen.
Yeah. Well, it's, I would be lying if I said I'm not confused about this whole mess, but at the same time, all the people I see fighting are on TV. They're not in my own hometown. I don't see people fighting. Thank God my neighbors, somehow miraculously, my neighbors are leaving me alone now, and they're not like harassing me or anything. I wonder why that is. It's great, man. So
I hear you. I mean, there's more people out on the street now than I usually see.
Really?
So yeah.
Really? Wow.
Well, I mean, I live in suburbia, and no one walks. No one walks in suburbia. No one walks at all. I never see kids. I know there's kids fucking everywhere. I mean, there's a fucking middle school like a mile from my house. I know there's kids everywhere. Never see kids. So it's really weird. But when school gets out, I see kids, and we walk by school a lot. But All I'm saying is it's nobody walks. So now I see more people walking than usual.
So your daily routine really hasn't changed a bit, has it?
No.
Yeah, mine has hardly changed a bit either. I'm a little bit, I go out a little bit less, and I think I'm going to be, next time I fill my car up, I'm going to be a little bit more careful with the gas pump. And ATM machine's probably the same. I feel like a spectator. If this was a protest in the street, like Occupy, I'd be out there in the street with the Occupy people, shooting my big mouth off, trying to get people to pay attention to the important issues. But on this, I'm a spectator. It's like, God, what the fuck? This is a global psychosocial phenomenon, the likes of which has never been seen. I'm speaking to people from dozens of countries. It's the same in every country. Every country's shut down. How did they do this? So I'm trying to figure out what's real in it and what's a fake story in it, and and then where's my $1,000 check? How am I going to get my $1,000 check? I'm a little bit concerned about that too, but I'm not as concerned as most of the people out there that really need it, And every store I go in, probably you're doing the same thing. Every store I go in, I talk to people. How's it going here? Are you affected?
The people I feel the worst for are the grocery store employees, man. They're the ones on the front lines.
Yeah.
If there is a front lines, they're the ones on the front lines.
I got 30 anonymous masks hanging in my room right now, and I'm thinking, man, just to add a little, everybody's wearing masks. Why shouldn't I walk around with my fucking anonymous mask on just to create a little habit?
You should put the anonymous mask on and then put a surgical mask on over it.
Oh, that's a good idea. So it's weird, Mike. I'm not, I'm confused, but I'm not scared, I'm every day there's some kind of new development. And look at us, man. We're like slaves of the masters on TV, slaves of the government. If Mr. Big Shot on TV says you guys got to do this, and everybody does that. And this is the real story, and everybody believes it for a couple of days, and then they switch. It's very. It's a little bit confusing. I'm not worried.
It's hard to know where it's headed.
Right, yeah. So, I don't know, man. They can't sustain this quarantine for 9 months, dude. I think you're wrong on your prediction. We will have elections, and we will, unfortunately, elect the orange clown once again, the greatest president America's ever known, friend of Jesus, Donald Juicy Trump. So, no, I don't know, man. It's like, but
I'm sure if Joe Biden is the Democratic nominee, I'm pretty sure that Donald Trump is reelected. You're right.
Oh yeah. Well, the Biden's in, right? There's nobody. He doesn't have any competition. Who's his competition?
We'll see. Look, the guy's a basket case. He could get to the fucking. He could get to the convention and not have enough fucking delegates just because he's so bad. And if that happens, then they can go, oh, well, we're going to pick someone else because that was their plan all along. Or they'll go, oh, look, Joe's brain doesn't work right, so we have to replace him. Because that would be the easiest fucking thing in the world to do. That was one of the things I keep saying. And I'm not trying to be mean in any way. I'm just saying, look, Joe Biden's brain does not fucking work right. And it hasn't for quite some time. And, anyone who doesn't see that has got some kind of blinders on and definitely not in your best interest.
Yeah, well, I don't know about the people, the hero worshipers that worship Biden for some strange reason. They got to have, maybe the mom dropped them on their head or something like that. But that's the only reason I could see anybody actually thinking Joe Biden is qualified to wipe his own ass. He should be in a fucking wheelchair with a couple of servants, drinking shit out of his straw, talking nonsense, because that's basically where he's at psychologically right now.
That's what I'm saying. Again, I'm not trying to, draw a picture of him or make fun of him in any way. I'm simply saying the obvious, which anyone like Bernie Sanders or anybody else that was competing saying, look, we all love Joe, but clearly his brain is not working correctly. So, we're glad to have you up here on stage, Joe, and we don't mean to, again, talk bad about you, certainly not with your brain not functioning the way it should. So.
Well, you remember that movie Gladiator, right? Where they killed, the son kills Marcus Aurelius.
Never seen it.
And then becomes the emperor, right?
Never seen it.
You have not seen it?
No.
Oh my God, one of the greatest movies ever made.
Russell Crowe, right?
Russell Crowe, right? Yeah, he was the Gladiator.
Yeah, I know. My bud Sam he loves that movie.
Yeah, well, they give you a prime example in that movie of what's called bread and circuses, where the guy the emperor reinstitutes the arena, the fighting arena, where the gladiators, and they're literally throwing out bread into the audience, and the circus is the gladiators fighting, and all this is done to distract the population of declining Rome from the tyranny of the emperor, and shit being all fucked up in Rome. And that's exactly what we're seeing now. But instead of all of us being collected in an arena, we're all at home in quarantine, and the circus is what we see on our television screens, and this has been going on for a long time. So they've just been giving us bread and circuses and free handouts and free phones, and Obama is the best, and hope and change, and MAGA, make America grumpy again, and they give us all this shit. That's the circus, and it's all a distraction from stuff like the Federal Reserve and the deep state, and where did this virus come from, and are we really free, So, unfortunately, I feel like a spectator on that, too. I'm not involved. I'm not fighting people in the streets. I'm not in any group that's going to make any change. I'm a little burned out on the whole online activism thing, because other than getting to the bottom of a couple of issues, not many, just a couple, we're not doing much. There is no truth movement.
I hear you. But look, that's because these fucking dinosaurs are still in control, right? I mean, these Nancy Pelosi's fucking cunts. I'm not saying that word because, I would add any other male politician in there with that. But these assholes, elitists, that fucking have been in these positions of power forever, they're all in on this shit because, how many thousands and thousands of times has Nancy Pelosi been tweeted and sent fucking massive amounts of documents showing, a demolition at the World Trade Center?
Right.
And if you ask her about it, she'll say, I have no idea what you're talking about. Like she never fucking heard of it for 1 second in any day of her life. So,
they don't want to know, man. They don't want to know.
It's not that they don't want to know. It's been told to her over and over again and shown plainly. It's not that she doesn't want to know. It's that the truth doesn't matter.
Well, all these people we're talking about, the Pelosi's and all the senators and congressmen, If they ain't multi-millionaires now, they're certainly trying to be one. You know,
Yeah.
these up-and-coming
All that matters is that we're right. All that matters is that everything the United States does is fucking golden. Torture, no problem. Invade a country, you know, based on lies and murder a million innocent people, no problem. They never talk about this shit.
Yeah. You're getting me depressed, Mike.
Hey, you called me. You're the one who got me riled up. I was talking about puppies swimming in the lake, man.
I like that dog park. That's a good looking dog park, actually.
Well, this part where they're in the lake isn't the dog park. That's the dogs are supposed to be on the leash here, but fuck your stupid laws.
You're a lawbreaker, man.
Hey, the dogs love to swim, and if you go down to the area where the dogs can swim inside the dog park, half of those fucking dogs are retarded, and they shit in the fucking water.
Wow. Well, don't let your dogs get the penguin virus, Mike. You know,
they're good.
There's penguins out there that could fucking infect everybody.
It's the Pangolinians.
Pangolinians. That's like the Mandalorian, right?
I guess I don't really know the Mandalorian, but I've heard mixed reviews.
Yeah, I've never seen it either. I can't figure out, is it a cartoon? Is it a real show?
No, I don't think it's a cartoon. I think it's a TV. It's a Star Wars based television live action show.
Huh. Well, so far during the quarantine I've seen Game of Thrones from season 1 to season 8 7 times so far. And I'm still waiting for season 9. You know, so I'm like going stir crazy. I'm climbing the walls. I think I'm just going to shut everything off and record really weird music.
That seems like a good plan, dude.
Yeah, with my soup, with my magic soup.
Oh, penguins, man, now you're talking.
Penguins, everything. Well,
penguins.
I hope you have a good show, Mike, and I actually think you're speaking a lot of sense. I'm disgusted with the level of apathy in the world and in America, and I'm not going to give up, but at the same time, you can drive yourself nuts. You know what they say, at the bottom of the rabbit hole.
I agree. You can really drive yourself nuts, and I have never gone to the bottom of the rabbit hole. In fact, I quite refuse to go to the bottom of the rabbit hole because it can be very difficult to get out.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I mean, that's where the Anunnaki live, as far as I know. So I'm staying away from the bottom of the rabbit hole. I'll talk to you later, brother.
Okay, talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
That's our buddy Michael from Southern California. Good to hear from him. He's found happy and well. La 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 la. So I'm going to give just a moment to, as he was saying, you know, my world hasn't really changed. Really, the only thing that's changed is that I probably am going to the store just a little bit less because I don't want to go in there where there's people and stuff. But other than that, I get up and we go walk around and see what's happening in the world, and it's been a beautiful few days over here in the great Northwest. As you can see, this was just a few days ago, and it was beautiful. There was lots of people out enjoying it. And since we made this video, there has been a shelter in place, not a shelter in place, it's a stay home, stay healthy order by the governor saying, you know, if you want to go out and take a walk in the sunshine, go ahead. But, you know, don't go and hang out at your friend's house. And, oh, I have a video about that. Where is that at? Let me see. I will play. I think it's this one. Let me see. Oh, I have a really good video here. I'm going to play this one. This is clip number 10. I'll be back momentarily.
A woman in Arizona says that she and her husband tried to prevent getting coronavirus by drinking something that they've used to clean their fish tanks. It poisoned them. The couple in their 60s was rushed to the hospital after ingesting chloroquine phosphate. She is in critical condition. Her husband died. She tells the NBC they were so afraid of getting sick.
We mixed it with soda. It was very bitter and terrible.
And then did you pretty immediately start to feel bad?
Yeah, within 20 minutes. But it happened so fast. It got so bad so fast.
Yeah. How much did you consume, would you say?
1 teaspoon each. I started vomiting. My husband started developing respiratory problems.
Did he die when you were with him?
No, he died while they were working on him.
How awful. The woman tells NBC she got the idea after she heard the president mention chloroquine at a news conference. Do know that the president is referring to an anti-malaria drug that has a similar name. The woman's expected to recover. Let's go to the actual anti-malaria drug, not the fish tank cleaner. Regarding it, the clinical trials are now underway for the anti-malaria drug possibly being used for coronavirus. And our chief medical correspondent, Dr. Sanjay Gupta, has more on what we know about this med.
Here's the advantage the drug has. It's an existing drug. The chloroquine it's been around for 86 years as an anti-malarial drug. It does have some side effects, but those side effects are pretty well known and described. The only study that's really been done on it in human beings is a study of 26 people, and 6 of those people were actually excluded from the study. But when we looked to see what happened to those 6 people, why did the researchers take them out of the study? We found that 1 person left the hospital on their own, 1 person could not tolerate the medicine because of the side effects, 3 people out of the 26 went to the intensive care unit, and 1 person died.
Doctor, thank you. You know, the malaria drug is also used for rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, and other autoimmune disorders. So a cruise ship with 42 people on board sick with flu-like symptoms is making its way to Florida anyway. Holland America says it has no way to know if these people have coronavirus because they don't have tests on board. The ship should arrive next Monday in Fort Lauderdale. It's got 1,200 people on board. This thing departed from Buenos Aires, Argentina, March 7th. And they don't arrive till Monday. The CDC found traces of coronavirus inside one cruise ship's cabins 17 days after people left it. This is the Diamond Princess, and it was before they disinfected the ship, obviously. Here's something else, though. Nearly half of the people who were infected on board didn't even show symptoms of it at the time of their testing. 712 passengers and crew members tested positive. This is the ship that was held off of Japan for so long. The cases linked with cruises have reported now in at least 15 states. I don't think that made sense.
All right. So, do not drink the fish tank cleaner. The fish tank cleaner is bad. Do not take the brown acid. The brown acid is bad. And this week's Darwin Award goes to... Ta-da! I have told you people the only cure for the COVID-19 is cocaine. But if you eat your marijuana, it will help you keep a good attitude. And a good attitude will go a long, long way. So we got that video done because I thought it was important to make sure you guys know not to drink the fish tank cleaner. Okay? I just said not to do that, Dr. Whisper. Do not take the brown acid. Okay, so we got that one done. I have a couple more videos. Let's see. Again, I think it's all just kind of, I have, there's a $1 a gallon gas. I'm not sure exactly where it was, but I saw it on the news, and I got a clip of it, and it's $1.09 a gallon. So we got that going for us. Let's see, there's non-essential businesses, everything is being told to close down. Boris Johnson, and let's see, social distancing, and 26-year-old yoga instructor gets COVID-19, and the head of FEMA. Become epicenter. Yeah. Oh, and Amazon suspends a fuck ton of guys. Amazon, see, that's clip number 9. Amazon suspends a bunch of fucking for gouging.
At a time where store shelves are empty of certain products, Amazon customers are dealing with price gouging online. It's why the company has suspended thousands of seller accounts during the coronavirus pandemic. KEMO's Nick Popham is live with more on that. Nick?
Well, the people I've spoken with have said when they normally go to buy items on Amazon, they've been looking through and they're either unavailable or they're normally double what they would regularly pay. One woman posted on Facebook saying she was looking to buy a bottle of Lysol wipes and it cost over $100 from a secondary seller. It's why Amazon is now suspending nearly 4,000 sellers because they're accused of price gouging customers out of basic products like cereal, toilet paper, and hand sanitizer. If you look on the website today, most of the big name brands aren't available and the smaller brands seem to be at a normal price. But one of the people we spoke with today said she hasn't been able to shop on Amazon because of the higher than normal prices. Not too long ago, she was looking to buy Honey Nut Cheerios and she said the only available 2-box set was $70. After she reported it, the next day she claimed she went back online and saw that the same product was being sold by somebody else for $85. She says that's just an example of the ridiculous pricing she's seen while online shopping. For her, it can be the difference between having or not having basic necessities.
I just have standard things that I buy monthly or every other month. And when I go to do my regular shopping and things are, twice to 3 times the price, I definitely notice it, and I just either pay the extra money or I go without.
Now, this price gouging is in part why Attorney General William Barr detailed an executive order signed by the president yesterday preventing price gouging when it comes to necessary medical materials. And earlier this month, Amazon got rid of hundreds of thousands of items that were overpriced and also suspended a couple thousand seller accounts earlier in March.
So, Nick, what is Amazon trying to do as far as stopping these sellers from even posting products at astronomical prices to begin with?
Now, we reached out to Amazon earlier today. They didn't get back to us, but they posted something on their company blog earlier this week. And in part, it said this. It said, quote, "At every level of our company, we're working to provide the products and services that our customers and communities need as we face a global pandemic. This includes taking a number of important steps to keep prices fair and protect our customers for those looking to exploit the current crisis." In that same blog post, they also mentioned that the company has a zero-tolerance policy when it comes to price gouging.
All right, Nick Popham live. Thank you very much.
Back to the doggy park. So be careful about your price gouging because you will lose your Amazon account. Apparently, we'll see. That I bet is done selectively. There's like, oh, there's this level is okay, but this level is not okay. This level of price gouging. Because it's not like gasoline is costing more, right? So we should be able to, like, I mean, I have a video of gasoline for $1.09 a gallon, 108.9. And I'll play that for you momentarily. But first, I want to make sure you guys know, when I say cocaine, I'm joking. I think the best thing that you can possibly do is make sure and eat marijuana. Okay, because again, it makes it so you have this good attitude where you're like, you know, you're not all fucked up with coronavirus. You're like, yeah, whatever, you know. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this over here because it's creative and I'm interested in making something interesting happen instead of listening to your corona fear stuff. And again, I apologize so much that this is the video clips that I'm playing, because I'm thinking, although I thought that the clip about the guys drinking the fish tank cleaner was probably important for people to see. Right? As everything that I show you, I'm not trying to waste your time here, you know. But again, the thing that I think, the most important thing I think you can do is to eat marijuana, because it just makes a huge difference in your daily life. You know, so if you're stressed out and you're trying to figure out how to be less stressed out, if you can legally go and get some kind of edibles, or if you can legally go and buy some kind of flowers and then turn the flowers into butter and then make your own edibles, it will be a life-changing experience for you. Especially if you're not used to it. It'll be like, oh my God, I can breathe again. I can sit upright. I can think about stuff instead of all this fear. Like I said, very beneficial, and I would highly recommend, you know, and that's why I play this clip, because it shows it quite specifically. You know, these fears, these annoyances, these nagging little pains. How brutal they can be if you're not properly medicated.
Sometimes life can be a little overwhelming. Sometimes the weight of the world can be too much to bear. Sometimes you need to stop worrying and take a deep breath. Sometimes you need cannabis. Introducing Brightside, high-quality cannabis delivered right to your door. Brightside offers an extensive menu of strains and products to meet your needs. Choose the experience you want, and we'll send you the dankest herb, the real sticky icky, some top-shelf marijuana. If you like what we send you, keep the whole jar. We'll even include some nugs for you to blaze. As part of Discovery, you'll get to try new strains and products. Side effects may include euphoria, increased appetite, uncontrollable giggles, elevated sensitivity to musical dopeness, and reduced anxiety. Tetrahydrocannabinol may also induce feelings of existential well-being and relentless optimism. With a Brightside subscription, you can get it once a month, once a week, or whenever you want, all at a price you'll like. And yes, this is a real company.
Do you know who I am? You're the wizard.
Ask your doctor if cannabis is right for you. It probably is. Keep it Brightside.
Okay, so now this is the same park. In case anybody's interested, this is the same park that we were at with the dogs, but this is Sam's drone video. And that's the waterfront that we were just playing with the dogs on, and then he's going to go up and he's going to circle around and you'll be able to see the doggy park behind him. Okay, so, but you can only see a little bit of the doggy park. He kind of stays away from it. He thinks the dogs don't like the drones. I am looking for something real quick here. But again, I love that video because I think it demonstrates it demonstrates something that I talk about all the time. I talk about how people are very rarely in the moment. How often that they're thinking, oh, how am I going to pay my bills next month? There's all these things, and this is the thing: is that marijuana just helps reprioritize all these things that are going crazy in your head that you always make happen. You always get the bills paid. I know we're in different times now, again, and there is nothing, I believe, nothing that will help you relax and not have this never-ending nagging kind of fear than a nice dose of edible marijuana. I believe that wholeheartedly. So, and again, I'm just trying to steer you in the right direction, and that's all that I've ever tried to do with every moment of my YouTube videos. I hear you. I hear you. So I was thinking what we should do is play another video. Let's see, so I have $1 a gallon gasoline, social distancing, Amy Klobuchar's husband, the head of FEMA. I should probably play the head of FEMA video. Don't worry, the government is here to help.
Very much. We're joined now by the head of the Federal Emergency Management Agency, Peter Gaynor. And Mr. Gaynor, thank you for joining us this morning. I want to start out with this immediate need for protective equipment for healthcare workers, especially those critical N95 masks. The president said yesterday that FEMA is distributing 8 million masks. Can you confirm that you have 8 million masks on hand? Where and when will they be delivered?
Well, we have much more than the 8 million. Every day we find new sources of masks, so whether they're in federal stockpiles, foreign ports, or donations, we have every day continued to build up our supply of N95 masks, surgical masks, and get those to where they're most in need. So that happens every minute of every day.
As you know, New York is the epicenter here in the United States right now. The president put out a tweet this morning saying the world market for face masks and ventilators is crazy. And Governor Cuomo is warning here that they just don't have enough supplies to get through the week. It's going to run out at the end of the week. And he's calling on the president to actually use the Defense Production Act because the governors of different states are competing for these supplies. Is the president prepared to do that? If not, why not?
So first of all, we are focused on the hot spots. New York City, absolutely. Washington State, California, L.A. We are absolutely ready to use the Defense Production Act. We just want to be careful that we don't do anything to put it out of balance and counter some other positive efforts that we see. So we will use it. I have no doubt about it. But right now, we're focused on getting those critical items to those states most in need. And what I say to all governors out there, if you find a source, go buy it. FEMA will reimburse you.
But they're saying that's the problem. They're out looking for a source and they're competing with each other. They're bidding the prices up. They're saying do it now.
Right. We hear that. And again, we're ready to take action on all of that. Again, we're trying to keep the system in balance. We don't want the federal government scooping up everything. We want to make sure that there's enough capacity that governors and mayors around the country can order on their own. So it's a delicate balance. I have the top professionals here in my building making sure it all happens.
It sounds like we're talking past each other right now, Mr. Gaynor. I mean, what the governors are saying is that the federal government should scoop it up and then distribute it to the states, that by forcing them to compete with each other, it's driving up the price and hurting their ability to get what they need.
Again, we're trying to identify sources around the globe. If it's in China, we're ready to fly it back to the United States today. Again, we're focused on making sure that those governors that are most critical in need, no matter where it comes from, whether it comes from the federal government or from another source directly, we are enabling that today.
You've already declared major disaster areas in New York, California, Washington, as you said. We just heard Tom Yamas report down in Louisiana. They say the infection is accelerating there, had similar warnings out of Florida. Do you expect to be declaring more disaster areas in more states?
Absolutely. We have requests from a couple different states. So we talked to Governor Edwards yesterday out of Louisiana. The Vice President and I held a phone call with all the governors, and they're absolutely on our list. And we want to make sure that we care about fulfilling every governor's request, and it's a matter of priorities. And so that is our focus every day.
Mr. Gaynor, thanks for your work. Thanks for your time this morning.
You're welcome.
Michael?
All right, George.
I'm here. Where is he now? I'm right here. Science is awesome. Okay, so you see the can you see the the military-industrial complex fucking programming here? I'm pretty sure Science is Awesome is some kind of like a kid t-shirt thing, right? Maybe you see it at the Kids Museum or something. Kids Science Museum. And right here, right here, there's like a F-16 or F-22 or whatever, I don't know. It's like, science is awesome. We kill people. We make weapons of mass destruction. This is so cool. This is awesome. Right? Weapons of mass destruction are awesome. Isn't that correct? Isn't that the way we all feel in the 21st century? That's the way I understand. Aren't we supposed to be like, ooh-rah, ooh-rah? Go, baby, go. More bioweapons for the U.S. Bioweapons forever. Okay, so I have Rand Paul defending his decision to when he knew that he was waiting for his test to come back for the COVID-19, he was down at the gym, the congressional gym, and all through the congressional hallways, and not like distancing himself. So he's being criticized for that, and he's fighting back, I guess. And of course, he's the first senator. Rand Paul is the first senator to test positive for COVID-19. So, hello, caller.
Hey, Mike. It's Ash.
Hey, Ash. How's it going, bro?
Pretty good. Hey, I wanted to wish you a happy birthday. I know it's a little bit late, but...
It's all good. It's Craig's birthday today.
Oh, well, then happy birthday to him, too.
Yeah.
Jeez. Birthday's going around, dude.
It's a lot of cool people kind of born around the same time.
I've noticed that. So, yeah, I wanted to wish you a happy birthday, and I wanted to give you a little bit of an update on what's going on over here. And, it's funny that you were talking about that the Science is Awesome shirt, because there was a video game back in the 90s called Colony Wars for the PlayStation. Mm-hmm. And not too many people know this. It's a very niche thing, but Space Camp tried promoting that game. Is that interesting? Colony Wars.
Huh.
You know what I'm saying? And shows, the F-22 in the shirt and all that. So, there is a little bit of a military-industrial complex thing that sort of they try to put into the whole space exploration thing,
Yeah, no, see, and the Pentagon, again, this shirt has the whatever that is, F-16 or whatever, it has on, and the Pentagon, I guarantee you, has these programs where they're like, or Homeland Security, whoever it is, where they're like, oh, if you have like an after-school club, like, like your robot club or whatever, and you wanna make t-shirts, we'll give you 75% of the cost of the t-shirt, or 50% or whatever it is, if you just put one of our little graphics on there. And it's like this thing where it's like we got to get our hooks into them, as much as possible at every angle, every chance we can.
For sure. Something very strange happened yesterday. I'll tell you one thing. I don't know how you guys are doing out there, or people in the chat, but this was very strange. I was trying to get food. And we got plenty of food, but it always helps to have some pasta around, and I wanted to share this with all you guys. Okay, so I'm there and I have, my EBT card and everything like that. It was like $60-something, right? There was 95 on the card. Slide the thing. They say, no, you owe us 58.
Huh.
And I'm like, no, because there's 95 on the card. So they print out the receipt and hand it to me, and they're like, no, that's what it says. And I'm like, nah, I don't think so. And I scan it, boom, it automatically accepted it.
Yeah.
And they were not happy about it.
Huh.
And I'm thinking to myself, what's all that about? And it's almost like they tried to deny me from buying some freaking pasta and water and stuff. It was so freaking weird.
Yeah.
And I go out to the car, and I told my sister about it. And she's like, "What?" She's like, "What the hell's the matter with you?" And I'm like, "You won't believe what just happened." I told her about it, and it's almost like this cashier was thinking, like almost like she's pocketing the money or something. Like she took it like personally. Like I don't know. That was so strange. And most people where I'm at, they're just buying like a can of beans or a piece of steak. It's just so weird, dude.
Where I'm at, Ash, the people are packing their grocery carts as full as they can possibly get them.
Well, that's good.
I guess. It's fucking
I don't
crazy,
know. I mean,
dude.
as long as they got something to eat.
Here's what I know.
don't know.
Here's what I know is that they can only do that for so long. So hopefully, like 2 weeks from now or whatever, because they can only fucking pack their grocery carts in their shelves at their home for so long. I think, maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe they can keep. I wanted chili when I went to the store, which is something I eat every fucking week, and the motherfuckers clean out all the damn chili. I mean, it's like so fucking.
Oh, it's the same here. Yeah. No, I feel you, man. It's the exact same thing here. It's so weird though, because it's like when you go in, like there's all these cans of like lentils and garbanzo beans. But every other kind of bean is gone. Like it's so funny. It's almost like a poll of like, what do people prefer to eat?
Well, lentils. You can do a lot of things with lentils if you're not familiar with
lentils.
them. Yeah, you can do a lot of stuff with lentils, so they will come in handy if you get some of those.
Yeah, hey, just more for me. I don't know. I mean,
yeah.
I just buy 2 cans, but I mean, I don't know. I hope when it comes down to it that people start realizing that lentils are very healthy. I always put them in my spaghetti, actually.
Wow, I haven't done that before.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. It adds a lot more nutrition to it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take away, as long as you wash the beans and everything like that, it does not take away from the sauce or anything like that. It also works with Alfredo and stuff like that. I always like to add them.
Yeah. No, I love pasta fagioli, you know what that is?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. But that's usually not a. I think that's usually like a red bean or something. It's not usually a lentil.
Yeah, typically. Yeah.
Or white.
Typically.
Bean, I'm not sure. But I do love that stuff. Sounds so good right now.
Dude, I love that footage that you were playing the other day of you guys with the dogs. That footage looked like some out of National Geographic. That was cool.
Oh, you know what? It's really I love this area, and the dogs are so happy, man. Those dogs are like 11 and a half years old,
Wow.
And they're just running and jumping and rolling in the grass like little fucking puppies. Of course, they eat. They eat a lot of marijuana.
That's the thing about what we see with dogs, is that they're all a puppy at heart, and I think a lot of humans are like that too. That we're all kids at heart. You know what I'm saying?
I believe that is in everyone, and that unfortunately, like I keep talking about how from the time I was like 5 years old, they've been trying to beat that out of me, and I have kind of refused to let go of it. But I believe it's most people don't let go of it. They just kind of bury it deep down inside of them,
Yeah. Or they try to find like an outlet for that.
Maybe.
But that's even rarer, I think, in most cases.
You mean like video games and stuff?
Well, it just depends. I mean, like, for example, I know this is probably a really, really shitty example, but like Michael Jackson, for example, he never really had a childhood. His whole life was just be a dancer, be a singer, be a dancer, be a singer. So
work.
Yeah, and he had like all the money in the world. Then he like regressed, and he was like less a professional entertainer because that was a natural thing for him, and more of a kid as time went on. I've known a lot of people like that that were never famous. But yeah,
well, that's
Probably
interesting.
a shitty example.
That's cool. I like that people do that. You know, do you think that cannabis has something to do with that, or?
I think it can help.
Yeah. No, I'm just wondering because you said you know people who act like grown-ups from the beginning or whatever, and then they become more childlike as they get older. Is that what you're saying?
Well, they can if they choose to. It really depends, you know.
You said you know people. You said you know people. That's what I'm asking you.
No, I know. Yeah. But it just depends on people in general. As for the people that I know, for example, I do believe that cannabis has helped.
Going up.
Going up. For sure. Like, for example, I know somebody who, you know, not to get anything personal, but, you know, had a lot of, you know, molestation, that kind of thing. And they've spent most of their life being in business, for example. And they're constantly having to deal with other people's problems that get put on them because that's their responsibility of that department. And it seems like when they, you know, especially like pot brownies and that sort of thing, like what you always talk about, like things that are more concentrated, like edibles and things like that.
Yeah.
That seems to have a profound impact, and they become a lot more chill, a lot more relaxed. And especially, you know, when you're watching like a good comedy or something like that, like, you know, say like a sitcom or something like The Office or like a mockumentary kind of thing like that, they seem to be a lot more, like, I don't want to say regress, but they go to like a different state of mind than what they're programmed or like forced to be into. The whole corporate business thing. Like I personally have physically witnessed that from people. So yeah, I would highly recommend it. I don't see why it's illegal. I mean, we talk about this all the time, dude. I mean, I think that it's because that these fucking people do not want us to be happy at the end of the day. They want us to be, because I've told you this before, that these people's masters feed off of negative energy, and they feed off of people's fears. Mm-hmm. I think we're seeing a lot of that with, excuse me, we're seeing a lot of that with this COVID virus. Like you said the other day, you know, I don't like this war talk either. You know, I mean, instead of saying like, I don't know if you saw this, but the other day NBC News was saying that's like, instead of number of people infected, they're saying a number of people attacked by the virus.
Huh. No, I didn't see that.
Yeah. Like, I don't like this wording, man, because it's like they don't say that about number of people attacked by gastroenteritis or whatever, number of people attacked by cancer. But they're doing that for this virus, and they want, like, a new national defense authorization.
I see. I'm not sure about all the channels. I can only look at so much of it, and these people that are like these professional propagandist people, you know, the talking heads, you know, those people doing this shit just makes me want to vomit. But what I keep seeing is that there's this, or what I keep noticing when I look at the mainstream media is that they have like a running death toll, and I've talked about this in the past. That when there's these shootings, right? When they have these shootings at schools or whatever, you know, they're like, oh, we have no report of anyone injured yet. You know, it's almost like they're salivating, like they're ghoulish, waiting to fucking see how many souls they get to reap today. You know, it's fucking disgusting, man.
Yeah, and you notice they never say how many people recover. Like, you really have to dig to get that information. Like, it's almost like it's not like they don't want to talk about recoveries, but it's definitely not up there on their list. That's for sure. Like it's not something that's a concern to them. Not even a concern, like a priority. Like what's the first thing that we think about? Ooh, how many people are attacked? Let's not use the word infected. And then it's like the number of deaths from this are so. I mean, this is a terrible virus. I mean, obviously, and the permanent lung damage it causes, etc. But when you compare it to say like how awful, say, the AIDS virus is. I mean, it seems like people have forgotten that, and then it's like the flu is like being downplayed, and that's not, nearly as important as this. You get what I'm saying.
Well,
I mean,
they don't really downplay the flu. I mean, this is something that I pointed out again and again. Is that every year they say, "Oh, it's flu season, and it looks like a killer season, and it's going to be really bad this year, and people are going to die, and the flu shot is now available, and everyone should go and get their flu shot." And I mean, every year they play that shit up, and so it's not like they don't. It's just that this one is a whole new level, It's just there's nothing. I mean, when it's the flu season, it's not like 24/7 flu season. Now it's 24/7 COVID-19 all day, every day, and that's all we have to choose from,
Right. So do you think that it's like, in a sense, that they've sort of upgraded from the flu to COVID? Because they're saying that COVID could last till September.
Yeah,
so instead of like a flu season thing, it's going to be like all year round or most of the year with this new virus.
Apparently China seems to have it under control, and people, there's like no new reported cases of COVID-19 in China from what I hear. I don't know that that's true, of course, but
well, South Korea, Japan, Taiwan, and Singapore are doing pretty good for now. I mean, it would by comparison.
Well,
to China.
South Korea got on top of it right away. Took it serious right away. They saw what was happening, and they're like, okay, we're gonna have to fucking shut everything down. They did a good job.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Back in the 90s, actually, I don't hear anyone talking about this, but they have if I knew the name of this, I would tell you, but they have some sort of protocol that South Korea is like the only country that's a part of. They try to get some of their neighbors like Japan and China involved, but they didn't sign on to it. And this protocol is basically what we saw with COVID, where they immediately take action, and the people that are in close proximity or have direct contact with the people that are already, have this virus are themselves quarantined. And with that sort of action, they automatically stop the spread of this or contain it as much as possible. And whatever that protocol is called has been very successful, and I wish that more countries would adopt it, because that's like here in the United States, with the media spreading this fear, the economy on hold, and all the consequences of that. Not to mention the enormous mask shortage and the just simple unpreparedness that many states, I mean, say what you will about the federal government, but I mean, like, none of these people agree with anything. None of them. None of these states agree with anything. The government doesn't agree. Even Trump doesn't agree with the government or the states, and he's his own, Trump is Trump, doing his own thing. Because, I mean, that's like, Washington's doing what Washington does. My state, Illinois, is doing what we do. And then when you look at, like, Mississippi, they are refusing to take action. Then we have this disgusting, bizarre rhetoric coming out of states like Texas, like their lieutenant governor, saying that's like basically insinuating that older people or like people's grandparents should just like, well, if they die, that's God's will or whatever. So who cares? We have to open up the economy. If some people die,
that's what older people do, Ash.
Yeah. I mean, it's insane.
We're in uncharted territory, so we got to be vigilant in the way that we look. I don't want people overly focused on this shit. You know, I mean, again,
I don't want that either.
If you have, you know, family that you're looking out for, then look out for your family. Don't look out for this COVID-19 shit. You know, stay focused.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah, stay focused on what you need to, what's really important. And the news is not in your best interest and never has been. And that's why, you know, Mox News has always been so important, because you know, I do my best to you know, make it so it doesn't you don't have to focus on this shit, and you don't really miss out on anything.
No, that's what liberty is all about. It's personal choice, and that's what you've always been about.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I mean,
absolutely.
like the first time I called you, I mean, I actually called up the first time we ever spoke just to thank you for that.
Yeah.
So did you? I always wanted to tell you for that.
Yeah. Did you get a chance to check out any of my cartoon recommendations?
Not yet. I do have a list of them though. I've been watching a lot of Deep Space Nine right now.
Deep Space Nine, huh?
But
there is another cartoon called Final Space, and it's a Fred.
Okay, hang on, let me. Final Space.
Yeah, Final Space. It's a Fred Armisen cartoon. So.
Okay.
And he's pretty darn funny.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. Anyways.
But
just because
anyway,
you asked,
I appreciate the recommendations. I've always been a Star Trek fan. I was watching a commercial the other day, and they were playing that Blue Sky song, and it just immediately made me think of Data from Next Generation.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my god! And everywhere I go, like the last week, I've been hearing this, and so I've started rewatching a lot of Star Trek and stuff because of that song. So
well, that was definitely a great character. There's no doubt about it.
And it's so well written.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, there were some elements of, you know, Star Trek,
have you watched,
The Next Generation.
Yeah, have you watched?
I'm sorry.
Have you watched the Seth MacFarlane? What is it called? You know, his version of Star Trek. What's that called, Craig? What's the Seth MacFarlane thing called? Shit. Oh man, it's right.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I can't remember its name.
It starts with an O. O. God dang, it's right there on the tip.
Hang on, let me look into this.
Anyways, they have a sentient robot type of being on that show, and I'm not doing any spoilers, so. Orville. Yeah, it's called Orville. Yeah. That show is pretty good. I mean, you know, it's just all this shit turns into fucking soap opera, you know. But that show's pretty good. He does it. You know, Seth MacFarlane's just a cartoony guy. So, and what they did with their sentient being robot was a twist that I hadn't seen, and I thought it was pretty darn good. So. I'm not gonna spoil it for you. So if you haven't seen it, so you know it's worthy of a watch.
Well, I'll tell you what. I've heard a lot of people over the years recommend that. I'll definitely look into that now.
Especially if you like Star Trek, because it's basically a little bit more cartoony version of Star Trek.
Yeah, it's like a spoof or like a parody of Star Trek.
Almost. It's not all comedy though. It's you know, people love their soap opera, so it's all this kind of interpersonal relationship stuff.
Oh, I gotcha.
That's what all those fucking shows become, except for the original Star Trek, which was just fucking Kirk going from one alien poontang to the next.
Yeah, for God's sake, Jim, I'm a doctor, not a coal miner.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, you got the girls walking around in short skirts and go-go boots, and exactly. Like, you know, the hairspray stuff. I tell you what, that show was something else. I tell you what.
Yeah.
And it was just so, like, from one episode to the next, like, they don't even mention anything that happened before. It's kind of like they're just like going from one, like you said, from one alien poontang to the next.
Yeah.
They're going from one thing to the next. It's like this continuous thing. It's almost like. Almost kind of like a comic serial almost.
Yeah. This is this is more like that, but they do have the see, and that's why I love the original Star Trek, and then these ones that followed, they all have this soap opera-y interpersonal relationship. Remember they had that kid Wes on the bridge, forever.
Yeah.
He was like 15 years old or something, and it just didn't make sense,
It didn't make sense, and even with the continuity of that universe,
yeah,
it violated their own rules.
Yeah.
But it's like the writers ignored that.
Yeah, and that's the thing about the Star Trek that I don't understand. Like in the original one, you don't see fucking little children running around the Enterprise. Pretty much every series after that, I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure about the one with. I'm sure every series after that, they have children running around on the Enterprise, which is an exploratory ship that's out charting uncharted territory, and you're taking little kids with you. Give me a break, man. That makes no sense.
Voyager never did that though, but all the Enterprise stuff, even the movies, they did that. But yeah, all Enterprise stuff did that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Deep Space Nine, I don't think they ever did that, but they, one thing that a lot of like old school fans don't like about DS9 is that it's a little bit more darker and gritty, and the reason for that is that it's in a wartime setting.
Yeah.
But I think the first 3 seasons of it are just, are just fantastic. After that, it does get a little bit more. Star Trek is not meant to be a wartime setting. Star Trek is meant to be hope of the future.
But again, if you come into where we're at now, and the Pentagon is like, oh, sure, we'll set you up money that you just maybe you should start a war on your show. Sure, we can do that. That's not a problem. And then you have all this sweet Pentagon money.
Yeah, that's a good point because you notice that once we start getting into the 2000s, that almost every Star Trek movie around then was more focused towards that than it was about exploration.
Yeah. Yeah,
this is what I'm saying. The good old Bush administration, of course.
See, and this is what I'm saying about the original Star Trek is what people really crave in this genre isn't fucking bullshit soap opera. They want fantasy that's space exploration. What's around the next corner? No one knows, but they fucking do all this, we have this relationship with this person and that, and it just gets really fucking soap opera-y, dude, and I can't watch that shit.
Yeah. It's like they're trying to take Days of Our Lives and put it in space and slap Star Trek.
Yeah, exactly. You got that right.
Throw in a war.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
you nailed it.
And that doesn't work, obviously. But
it works for some people, but it doesn't work for me.
It doesn't work for me either. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people love those fucking relationships and little kids running around and stuff. It makes it seem more like their world or something. But that's my point exactly, though, is that people don't want it to be their world. They want it to be some unexplored world that they've never seen before. And why would you bring your children to a place like that? That's all I'm saying, Ash. Come on, man. Get it on the picture. No, go ahead, dude.
But no, I totally agree with you. It's funny because the other day I was watching Red Letter Media, and they were having all these old reviews of Star Trek movies and stuff, and they were taking how the shows were and comparing it to these movies, and they didn't really outright say what you and I are saying, which is more blatant about this stuff.
Propaganda.
But they were kind of hinting at what
propaganda.
You and I are talking about, how it's
propaganda.
Basically, but they didn't outright say it.
Yeah.
And it's funny because all those videos are now unlisted on their channel. You have to have the direct link to see it. So that's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's very weird. Hey Ash, I gotta play a video, man.
Okay. Well, anyway, it was good talking to you, man. I want to wish you a happy birthday.
Right. It's good to hear from you too. I'm glad you called. I look forward to talking to you soon.
All right. Take care, man.
Bye. That's our buddy Ash from Illinois, and I'm going to play this video about this yoga instructor.
Grateful to them, but I think it's interesting what Trevor, how he picked up on the Italians calling people out. I almost think you have to shame people.
Yeah.
I almost think it's come to that.
It's so dire there.
To shame people.
Yeah, you got to raise your voice.
You really do, because this is very serious stuff, and that, of course, is where we are beginning. Talking about serious, we are seeing the biggest one-day jump in coronavirus deaths in the U.S. since this outbreak began. More than 140 people lost their lives yesterday, bringing the death toll to over 590 in this country. The number of reported cases in the U.S. has now risen to more than 46,000. A new CBS News poll says nearly three-quarters of Americans, 72%, believe it will take months or longer for this virus to be contained.
The coronavirus has also pushed the American economy to the brink. For that reason, President Trump is now suggesting he may be running out of patience with measures meant to slow the virus as Congress continues to fight over a bailout package. Nowhere has been hit harder in America than the New York metro area. Around a quarter of the country's coronavirus cases are in New York City. That's where our lead national correspondent David Begnaud is. David, these numbers are causing at least one other state to take action.
Anthony, good morning. That's right. The governor of Florida has said, listen, if you're coming to our state from New York, you need to quarantine for 14 days. And some people are giving the governor heat, saying the Florida governor should declare a stay-at-home order statewide. You've got the governor of Puerto Rico who said anyone coming from anywhere to our island needs to quarantine for 14 days. And I want to give you a sense of what some of the other states, the smaller ones, are going through. I talked to a hospital CEO in Louisiana who said, David, we need masks so bad. I was on the phone with somebody's brother's sister's friend who connected me with a lady who usually sells perfume that she gets from China, but now she's getting masks and we're buying them from her. That is what our top-level medical professionals are dealing with in order to get our frontline workers the equipment they need.
The governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo, toured Manhattan's Javits Center Monday. It will soon be converted to a temporary 1,000-bed facility. But the governor says that won't be enough.
We have 53,000 hospital beds. We are projecting a possible need of 110,000 beds. I've ordered today the hospitals that they must increase their capacity by 50%.
In Walnut Creek, California, nurses at a Kaiser hospital rallied over the shortage of personal protective equipment.
I've seen nurses go home in tears because they feel like they've been exposed or potentially exposed to something here.
The hospital insists it is providing equipment which is in line with current scientific and public health standards. The U.S. government admits it only has a fraction of the 300 million N95 mask stockpile that it needs for the medical workers to protect themselves. Valley View Hospital in Glenwood Springs, Colorado, is making their own surgical masks to wear over the FDA-approved N95 masks, which the nurses have been told they only get one, and they have to reuse it.
But that's where I believe our masks will come in to help provide that protective barrier that healthcare workers want to use to feel safe to do the job that they need to do to protect our communities.
In California, the governor says the state needs an additional 50,000 beds to treat the sick. Off the coast of California, the Navy hospital ship Mercy left San Diego headed for Los Angeles. With 1,000 beds and 9 staffed operating rooms. The idea is to use the ship to treat people who are not infected with COVID-19. If you need more proof that this virus knows no age, back in New York City, 26-year-old yoga teacher Fiona Lowenstein says she had no underlying medical conditions, but was still hospitalized for COVID-19. She lost her appetite and was struggling to breathe. She's home now, but she says things are by no means back to normal.
I still have no sense of smell. I'm having GI problems. I lost a lot of weight in that first week that I have not been able to put back on.
What's the most direct, pointed, candid thing you want to say to people your age?
I think I want to say that at some point during this crisis, we have all not taken it seriously.
Fiona wrote an op-ed in the New York Times basically targeting people her age in their mid-20s, saying, hear my story and understand this is serious for people who are as young as we are. I want you to know that the Pentagon says 5 military field hospitals will be set up around the country. One is going to the Seattle area. Another one is set to arrive in New York this week.
That military support is heartening, but people do need to take this seriously, David. Thank you very much. We want to get you more on a new CBS poll that shows while most Americans do not think the Trump administration was prepared for the coronavirus pandemic, 53% do approve of the way the president is handling it. Although that is changing. The president now appears to be backing away from recommendations that people should stay home over a long period of time because of his concerns about the effects on the economy.
If it were up to the doctors, they may say, let's keep it shut down. Let's shut down the entire world because, again, you're up to almost 150 countries. So let's shut down the entire world. And when we shut it down, that would be wonderful. And let's keep it shut for a couple of years. You know, we can't do that. That's why I talk about the cure being worse than the problem. We can't have the cure be worse than the problem.
So we should point out that CBS News has not heard any recommendation from any doctor about a multi-year shutdown, although certainly a short-term shutdown is on the way. Paula Reed is at the White House for us. Paula, good morning. So what do the president's comments suggest about what he's likely to do next?
Oh, good morning, Tony. The president appears to be laying the groundwork to reopen sectors of the economy and send people back to work. The president said on Monday he will make an announcement about whether to ease the current restrictions. But at a nearly 2-hour briefing last night, the president said it will be a matter of weeks, not months, before he tries to reopen the country. But asked if he was risking lives by doing this, the president insisted he believes the dire economic conditions could lead to suicides, which he claims would result in an even higher death toll, though many medical experts disagree with that assessment. The president said going forward he will consult with medical experts on this effort, along with others, but when pressed, he would not say who else he is talking to get advice about how to guide the country through this unprecedented economic turmoil. Now, Dr. Anthony Fauci is the one who many Americans say they really want to hear from when it comes to coronavirus. He was not at last night's briefing. The president was asked about this, and the president insisted he believes the doctor is a very good man, but said the world-renowned infectious disease expert was not at the briefing because they were not discussing his area of expertise. Gail?
A lot of people wondering where was Dr. Fauci yesterday. Thank you very much, Paula.
All right, so I want to have a puff. So if you guys are ready for a puff, I thought that I would make it real clear that I was going to have a puff and see if Dad Who Dabs wants to have a puff with us too. So I figure it'll take a second to get to him, and then he'll have to warm up his rig, and I gotta warm up my rig, and you probably gotta warm up your rig. So I was thinking I will play another video here while we warm up our rigs, everyone. Follow me and do exactly as you see. Be right back.
Just want to welcome you back. I'm Robin Meade. If the old alarm clock is still ringing for you this morning, welcome. Here's what's going on today. In one of the hardest hit cities, New York, the police department has more than double the usual number of sick-outs. More than 2,400 officers have called out. It's almost 7% of the staff. 129 department members have tested positive for coronavirus. That includes officers and civilian staff. The mayor, Bill de Blasio, says that city hospitals are only going to be able to get through this week with the current amount of equipment they have on hand.
If we don't get ventilators this week, we are going to start losing lives we could have saved. I can't be blunter than that.
And Bryn Gingras reports that officials say the city's 11 hospitals will be overwhelmed if they don't get more ventilators, surgical masks, gloves, and gowns.
One of the things the governor and
and the mayor has talked about is the fact that they're competing with other states and even other countries who are trying to buy the same materials. And then there's price gouging involved. And so that's why they've actually asked the president to take this on a federal level and make it clear that these manufacturers have to make a certain amount and they have to be sold to specific people. So this is one of the issues that's been coming up in all of this. But really, there are ventilators coming to the state, right? We're getting some from the supply chain. The president actually just tweeted that hundreds are on their way as well, just to New York State alone. But the point is, 30,000 ventilators are needed just here in the state of New York. And that isn't really political speech coming from our governor. It's really just the numbers. You heard yesterday, possibly from the White House task force, that 1 in 1,000 New Yorkers are in this metro area, which includes parts of New Jersey, are infected with the coronavirus.
It was Bridging Grass. You know, New York has more than 12,000 confirmed cases at last check. This caught my ear today. How about you? That people who want to fly to Florida from New York or New Jersey or Connecticut, you will be required to self-quarantine for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. The governor says that he's doing it because he's seen such a surge in flights to Florida from those 3 states. That's after New York's shelter-in-place order came down. Senator Rand Paul is defending his decision not to self-quarantine after getting tested for coronavirus. He says, quote, "For those who want to criticize me for lack of quarantine, realize that if the rules on testing had been followed to a T, I would never have been tested and would still be walking around the halls of the Capitol."
Who's not picking up?
He's the first senator to test positive for the virus and says he's feeling fine but got tested out of an abundance of caution. You know, a number of senators and aides said that he allegedly kept going to the Senate gym and even had lunch with colleagues while awaiting the test results, knowing that he had a test. At least 2 other senators have self-quarantined as a precaution.
Okay. All right, so time for dabs in space. I hope you all got prepared. There will be a test later. Nice. All right, so here we are. Thank you so much for joining us. That's your Wake and Bake News at 7 p.m. here at 8:52 p.m. And that was a lovely dab. Thank you so much for those of you who joined me. Okay. So, I want to, if we don't have a caller, I want to get another clip done because we still have a bunch of them left to go. Let's do, okay, so this clip, almost at the end of it, it talks about the $1 a gallon gasoline. So I figured you guys would want to see that probably because I found it interesting. That happened pretty fast.
Right now, the State Department of Health tells us they're having technical difficulties getting the latest coronavirus numbers. So we know these will go up, but the last numbers released show 110 people have died from COVID-19 in our state out of more than 2,200 confirmed cases of the virus.
Of the nearly 32,000 people tested in Washington, 7% have tested positive. Nationwide, there are 705 deaths and nearly 54,000 cases, with nearly half of those in New York. The first death in the nation was more than 3 weeks ago at the Life Care Center in Kirkland.
Now, a scathing report outlines critical problems that might have contributed to that deadly outbreak. We have team coverage tonight. KOMO's Keith Eldridge and Matt Markovich are standing by.
But we begin with KOMO's Patrick Quinn with more on that inspection report. Patrick?
Hey, Eric, and family members with loved ones still at Life Care called these findings, quote, horrifying. And now Life Care is on the clock. Health investigators gave them 18 days to turn their act around. Otherwise, they'll pull federal aid. More failings found at Life Care Center in Kirkland in its response to the coronavirus outbreak. Officials from the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services sent 24 health clinicians and found Life Care failed to rapidly identify and manage sick residents. They failed to notify the Department of Health after their respiratory outbreak in February, and they failed to have a backup clinician when their primary doctor got sick. Bridget Parkhill, with her sister, read CMS's report before visiting their mom, Susan, who's tested positive for COVID-19.
It all rolls downhill if you don't have a doctor directing your PAs, directing your RNs, directing your nurses' assistants. It falls apart. And it did.
According to the county, at least 37 people with ties to Life Care have died with the virus. CMS's findings come on the heels of a report last week by the CDC that found staff worked with COVID-19 symptoms. Then many worked in other nursing homes across the region. The CDC found staff weren't always following proper gloves and goggles precautions. There was an inadequate supply of PPE, including hand sanitizer, and Life Care saw a delay in recognizing COVID-19 cases. Life Care did not respond to my questions today, but said last week they recognized their shortcomings, but stressed this outbreak and this virus is uncharted territory for any nursing home to handle. CMS hopes their report sounds the alarm to other nursing homes. Bridget hopes the same.
This should be a big lesson for not just Life Care Centers of America, because they have 199 other nursing homes, but all nursing homes, all care facilities, that they need to have emergency action plans.
And CMS said in their report, in the next 18 days, they will make an unannounced visit to Life Care. They want to see a plan on how Life Care will address these, quote, urgent problems. Now, it's worth mentioning one more time, CMS said they released this damning report to shed light for the some 15,000 other nursing homes across the country. They said what happened at Life Care is a tragedy they do not want to see repeated. In Seattle, Patrick Quinn, KOMO News.
All right, thanks, Patrick. Here on the KOMO Live Desk, gas prices also being affected by coronavirus, taking a nosedive nationwide, deals in the coronavirus outbreak. And here's what's happening in Cleveland. The gas now goes for just over $1 at a gallon at some stations, and AAA says the statewide average for a gallon of regular in Ohio, about $1.76. On the national level, regular sells for $2.10, about 50 cents less than 1 year ago. Now, here in Washington, the state average right now, you may notice a little bit of a drop for regular unleaded, a gallon of about $2.87. So AAA is attributing the drop to both crude oil prices, which are at 18-year lows, a slump in demand caused by people staying at home. Association also says, and this is important, the nation's gas stockpiles are high, so no need to worry about any shortages.
All right, I'm back. Yes, I'm back. Okay, so I thought that $1 a gallon gas stuff was pretty interesting. That seemed to happen pretty fast, right? I was telling you just the other day, like last week, I think, I was telling you that a friend that me and Craig have owns a gas station, and he was saying that he's able to get gas for $1.50 a gallon. Here it is. Obviously, they're getting it cheaper in Ohio. So that's what's to come, I guess. I think what it is it the price? Is it there's a lot of gas to get moved, and that they're trying to keep it moving because it can't just sit there, or I think that becomes kind of an issue if it sits there too long. Right, baby girl. How's my little baby girl? You look so serious all the time. You look so serious. She just got her teeth brushed. We did that right before the show started. Because it's teethy brushing day. You love teethy brushing day, huh? Makes you feel like a princess, doesn't it? She's like, fuck teethy brushing day. Fucking hate teethy brushing day. Well, we're both in the same boat there, girl. No, I don't hate it. But it's not my favorite. It's nobody's favorite, but we gotta do it. So, I think since we're not having another caller just yet, I'm going to go ahead and try and get through these clips because there's a fuck ton of them.
Well, it has been 24 hours since Britain's Prime Minister announced a nationwide lockdown to fight the coronavirus. Boris Johnson told the British people that the government was shutting down non-essential shops and services and banning gatherings of more than 2 people. His government has faced criticism for its perceived failure to act quickly to halt the spread of the virus. Here's how people in the UK are dealing with the new restrictions.
Just another day on the London Underground, except the UK is supposed to be in lockdown. Jam-packed carriages on the tube, despite the government telling all non-essential businesses to close.
We will immediately close all shops selling non-essential goods, including clothing and electronic stores, and other premises, including libraries, playgrounds and outdoor gyms and places of worship. We'll stop all gatherings of more than 2 people in public.
Above ground, confusion about who the new rules apply to. Construction work continues at this site. The coronavirus outbreak has overstretched Britain's health service, the NHS, so the army has come to the battlefront, delivering personal protective equipment to hospitals after medical staff complained of a shortage. Health officials are warning of an imminent spike in the number of critically ill people. Boris Johnson's critics say he missed a window to bring in a lockdown earlier and keep the number of hospital admissions down. For now, the streets have mostly emptied out, and just like in many other countries, this will be the new normal.
All right, the new normal. For more on the new normal, let's talk to DW's Charlotte Potts. She joins me now from London. Good evening to you, Charlotte. So we've seen pictures of the jam-packed London Underground today. How did the UK fare on this first day of the nationwide lockdown?
Well, my impression is that people are finally taking this very seriously. The streets were pretty empty. London City and the sites were absolutely deserted. And those who can do work from home or are in quarantine if they show symptoms. But we also have to say there are many thousands of people that are essential to keep the city running that can't really work from home and that have to use public transport to get to their destination, to get to work. Now, the transport has been shut down in its frequency. So there are less trains, less subways running. And of course, all these people that still have to get to work to provide essential goods, for example, for the people, still have to crowd on that underground. So it's a real dilemma.
Yeah, those images of the crowded tube there, those are scary images. We've also seen pictures of the British military having to help out. Is that a positive or a negative signal for what's to come?
Well, at the current state, the National Health Service here in the UK wouldn't be able to cope, I think, with the number of infected people. There are not enough intensive care beds. There are not enough ventilators, especially in comparison to other European countries. Now the authorities are finally stepping up, and we're seeing that British industries, for example, are producing thousands of ventilators. 35,000 doctors and nurses, new and retired, are going to join the National Health Service. And here in London, for example, a huge conference centre is going to be opening its doors as a giant hospital in the next week. So authorities are stepping up, but at the moment the worry is that there is not enough protective gear for the staffers at the hospitals, and this is why the military is stepping in to provide access and to distribute that to the hospitals around the country.
Okay, DW Charlotte Potts on the story for us tonight in London. Charlotte, thank you very much.
There's my pretty girl. Hi, my pretty girl. So, thought you'd want to see that. And we're about done here. Craig was working on a call, but I think he lost it. If anybody wants to call, the number's 805-669-6397, just in case you can't see it. We do this every Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific time, so that we can all kind of touch bases together and let everybody know what's going on in their own community, or if there's something important that they want to, make sure that others know about. Or if you just want to debate me on anything, you're always welcome to call. Aha. Hello, caller.
Michael, this is Steve McClanahan. I am reporting to you live from the Bakersfield 7-Eleven, where we have currently breaking news, Michael. Tonight, on Mox News, ladies and gentlemen, I have the exclusive information. Michael, the people need to know this. There is plenty of Snickers bars. There are plenty of Cheetos. You can get Mountain Dew and all this shit. Shout outs to any of those that want to sponsor the show. Currently in this devastating time, we're doing the deal. And Michael, we have breaking news. The people, they're running out of toilet paper. Everybody knows this. They're running out of paper towels. Michael, I had to come to Bakersville, California, to bring you the exclusive news that currently, Michael, oh my fucking God, Michael, the fucking people here. I have Magoo here. Magoo is here. He is the clerk. He is the counter clerk. And what's happening is, Michael, people are running out of toilet paper, paper towels, napkins, all this fucking goddamn shit, sheets of paper and stuff. They're buying lint rollers off the shelf. These people are fucking buying lint rollers, and they're trying, it looks similar to toilet paper. It has a handle and shit, and then they're trying to wipe their fucking asses with a goddamn lint roller. It's getting stuck in massive amounts of hair. The fucking goddamn hospitals are fucking overwhelmed because people are fucking wiping their asses with lint rollers currently, Michael.
No, they're not.
Breaking fucking news. Yeah, they are. They're doing that.
No, they're not doing
fucking
that.
Getting tangled up as fuck. It's getting all tangled up. It's getting stuck in there. People are getting rushed to the ER.
No.
And we don't have a lot of hospital space currently here in America for people getting the goddamn lint roller stuck in their fucking ass, Michael.
Yeah.
And Magoo, who I am here standing with, the fucking clerk of the goddamn 7-Eleven, he knows. It's breaking fucking news. They're doing it. They're doing it live. And it's disgusting at the same time. It's completely fucking up the hospitals, Michael. Oh my God, Michael. I'm telling you, I found some exclusive breaking news. I'm telling you, it's going to be on, Kathy Lee and fucking Hoda tomorrow morning. And,
I should try and record them. That's a good plan, Steve. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a great fucking idea. You need to get on the line with fucking Kathy Lee and Hoda and fucking let them know that I've got the fucking story. I've got the scoop. These people are fucking literally wiping their asses with lint rollers. It's fucked. It's completely fucked. It looks similar to toilet paper. It's got a handle, and they think, and I tell you what, what I'm thinking is, maybe they're onto something. You just gotta get through that fucking goddamn first
people
wax.
aren't doing
you
that.
Wax that ass. You get it all cleaned up, and I tell you what, you just do a fucking lint roller, and it sticks to everything, and then you just pull the sheet off, you throw it in the toilet, and then you flush the goddamn toilet, and then you're on to a new clean strip.
No.
You got a handle and everything.
No. That is not what's happening.
We got big gulps here and stuff. You want a big gulp?
No, I'm good. I don't drink soda.
I'm drinking a big gulp right now currently.
Okay, good. Well, good.
Oh, shit. This fucking shit's delicious. I tell you what, we're doing it live here in America, whether you like it or not.
You're not supposed to mention
the
sponsors.
day, Michael.
You're not supposed to mention the sponsors until they're paying us, Steve.
Well, God's vagina.
Well, God's vagina is a special case.
Vagina. This shit's been sent down from the heavens above, you know?
God's vagina is a very special case.
Shove your head right in it, and it's fucking amazing. I tell you what. Right. And just, God have a vagina, Michael? Holy shit, this is breaking news. I gotta fucking figure this out. All right, Michael, I gotta go.
Okay, Steve, thanks for calling.
You, Michael.
Thanks for calling.
10-4 over now.
He hung up. You never know if he's going to hang up in the end or not. Because that's Steve McClanahan. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and play a video on social distancing. And by the way, no one is wiping their ass with lint rollers. So we're clear. That is not news on Mox. What's happening? Okay.
We are at Stephen Colbert's theater. The one thing I like about this theater, talk about social distancing, no one's in here but us chickens.
Yes.
But it is nice to show the beauty of the building. Thank
Only
you very
chickens.
much. Yeah, thank you very much for that, Jared. Americans are being ordered to practice social distancing to help slow the spread of the coronavirus. But in crowded cities across the country, that is not always easy to do.
No, it is not. And small spaces at home have pushed many people outside, but busy grocery and convenience stores are now forced to find creative ways to keep those people apart. Our national correspondent, Jerika Duncan, is looking at some of these challenges. Jerika, good morning. There's a pizza place in my neighborhood with a takeout window, and they've spray painted on the sidewalk, "No standing here." It seems like it's gotten more extreme.
I definitely believe that. And, you know, I think the efforts that people are making are going to be helpful, you know, in the end. And both New York State and California government officials are starting to really come down hard on crowds at outdoor spaces like parks and beaches. In fact, the governor of California is now shutting down all parking at state parks to help discourage visitors. And in Los Angeles, city officials there have also warned that law enforcement officers will not be shy when it comes to enforcing the rules.
In cities where space is already tight, staying at least 6 feet apart from other people has become increasingly challenging.
You almost accidentally don't do it a bunch of times because you forget, and then you have to take a step back.
Matt Zender in Seattle says he was initially surprised by grocery store policies to help keep customers at a distance. Several major chains are limiting the amount of people allowed inside. Others are adding visual cues like these tape squares to space out customers waiting in line, or placing large crates in front of registers to keep people away from cashiers.
It's so helpful if we can implement policy controls and environmental controls that help people alter our behavior.
Carolyn Canusio is the director of research at the Center for Public Health Initiatives at the University of Pennsylvania. She says the other key to social distancing in cities is timing.
If we need to go out for exercise, we need to try to do that at times when the public parks or paths are not very busy. If we need to go to the grocery store, we should try to either order ahead and just pick up the groceries or to go at non-busy times.
Another major problem is people simply ignoring orders to stay home, crowding Los Angeles beaches, Bay Area hiking trails, or New York City parks, and prompting officials to add new restrictions.
I think people are definitely taking advantage of going to the beach and still congregating in groups, which now in turn has kind of ruined it for the rest of us.
I start to see more and more people in parks together, not really holding on to that 6 feet away rule at all.
Canusio reminds people that outside of your home, you should have as little contact as possible with others.
I think people let their guard down when they see people who are familiar to them. They don't hesitate to visit the homes of friends. Familiarity does not confer protection.
What's that?
So here's some other things to consider. When you're going grocery shopping, shop for a few days so you don't have to continuously make trips back and forth to the grocery store. And another thing is try to hide your phone away from yourself when you're grocery shopping. Why is that? Because the idea is you go grocery shopping, then you come home, then you wash your hands, and then you can deal with your phone. Or maybe even leave your phone at home.
Yeah.
Oh, leave the phone at home.
The phone picks,
no.
Imagine that.
Oh, no,
They do pick up a lot of, they can pick up a lot of
it's a quick
germs.
trip, right? You're in and
Hands
out.
are over it all the time. Yeah, no, that's good advice, Jerika.
She's right. I like, Tony, what you said about your pizza shop, because I went to CVS the other day to get my cholesterol medicine. They have a little table in front, so you have to reach over like that just to get it. I like that they're taking all the precautions that they're taking.
Yeah,
I think that's very important.
It's very hard, though, because, you know, New Yorkers, particularly in a time of crisis, they're used to going up to other New Yorkers and being like, how are you?
Yes.
You know, we come together, and now it's no.
I'm finding I've got the opposite of a gravitational pull. It's like I see somebody and I like back away.
It's hard to do when you like the person, though.
Yeah, I know.
Hello over there.
No, but I went to Klaus on Steadicam. I was so glad to see him, but I know you should not do that.
Yes.
You should not do that. I have to remind
Nancy
myself.
as well.
All right, the economic impact of...
Right, so that's the one where they're talking about social shaming, for shaming people for doing stuff now. So now they want you to make people, you know, to point out people and say, look at what horrible people these people are. Hey, buddy. So I have one more video and then we are out of here. Almost. Let's see. I have this video. Again, this video because I love this video. I always love this video. It's like, there's not a fucking tiger. I don't... Fucking tiger! There's no tiger. I don't see a fucking tiger. And I have, let's see, non-essential businesses. Yeah, non-essential businesses. Where is that at? Where's that at? Clip number 13. Boom.
Boeing's normally packed parking lot in Everett is thinning out now that the company has announced that it's temporarily shutting down production in its Puget Sound facilities. The company made the announcement after more than 24 COVID-19 cases happened at the plants. The closure starts tomorrow and will last for at least 2 weeks. The state's stay-at-home order takes effect tomorrow afternoon, but there are hundreds of exceptions to the order. KOMO's Matt Markovich is here to provide some guidance about what's allowed and what's not allowed. Matt?
Eric, a list of what's essential and not essential. It's a long list for what's essential, but non-essential, that's really left up to for interpretation. Take, for example, Arundel Books in Pioneer Square. Its owner believes he has to shut down tomorrow because on the list, retail outlets are not considered essential unless they supply items or services to what's deemed as critical infrastructure. He believes he can't even sell books online, but Amazon can, because Amazon's warehouse, they ship more than books, like essential items like hand sanitizer and toilet paper.
I can't show up here in my own business, handle internet correspondence, do whatever the heck I want to do. That's my reading of it. And I'm actually not okay with that.
In general, the categories of business and activities not allowed under the stay-at-home order by the governor are primarily leisure and recreational, including theaters, gyms, salons and spas, museums, casinos, shopping malls, and sports arenas. Jobs related to these categories are considered non-essential. Now, each individual business that's considered essential can do whatever they want on their own and close down shop if they want. Take, for example, Boeing. Boeing is considered an essential service because it's a defense contractor, but it chose to shut down its Puget Sound operations, and one of the reasons is actually proximity of workers to each other. The governor's order is really trying to prevent situations where people are gathering together unnecessarily. I'm Matt Markovich reporting live in Seattle. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Matt. Here's a live look at SeaTac Airport, where Checkpoint 5 is shut down for a cleaning after a TSA officer tested positive for COVID-19. The TSA says the officer last worked the morning shift this past Saturday, March 21st. They didn't get any more specific about who the officer is. If you believe you may have come in contact with that officer and you're concerned about your health, we're being told to ask you to reach out to your doctor.
Right now, the U.S. Marshals Service is asking for your help finding 6 inmates who escaped the Yakima County Jail. 14 broke out. 8 have already been arrested. The inmates said to still be on the loose are considered low-level offenders, wanted on charges like illegal gun possession. If you see them, you're asked to call the number on your screen. You could receive up to $1,000 for information leading to an arrest. King County is trying to shrink the number of people in its jails in an effort to slow the spread of COVID-19 among inmates and jail workers. The county says nearly 2,000 people were in its jails at the start of this month. King County leaders say they're hoping to cut that number down to about 1,200. That way, jail workers say they can space out the inmates and have room to isolate people who are at higher risk of severe complications. KOMO's Kara Kosternich is digging deeper into the impact of those changes. She'll have a live report for us coming up tonight at 6.
So they're going to let all the people who were in jail out of jail. We got that going for us. And we have a caller on the line. Hello, caller.
Hello, Mox News.
How are you this evening?
I am well, thank you for asking. How are you?
I'm good. And who is this?
This is the anonymous caller.
The anonymous caller.
Yes, a lot of people in the chat have been asking for the anonymous caller to be let through, and I made it past the screening process, and I understand that these calls are being monitored for quality assurance.
Well, no, there was an issue last week, and Craig and I have been talking about, once we get to a certain amount of calls, it'll be, if we do it this way, I can have a call and then he can take another call at the same time, which is very difficult when it's just me answering the phone. So.
Well, I bet it was. I had to say nice things about his mother to get past Craig.
I hope it's not.
Security's always good.
If you weren't the anonymous caller, it wouldn't be that difficult, I'm sure.
Right. So I'm spoofing a number that Craig actually has in his phone, but that's another story because he says he's got my number. So anyhow, yeah. So I just wanted to call in and hopefully and just. I see that you're doing good. Everybody, the dogs are getting out and having a good time. And,
hell yeah! And
it's all good. There's not many news clips that we really want to see. It's all kind of like that last caller with the super bullshit tron. It's, a whole lot of shit out there, and that's why there's no fucking toilet paper on the shelves, because there is so much horse shit. Bullshit and people shit everywhere.
Did you see the clip about the couple who drank the fish tank cleaner and poisoned themselves?
Yeah, I saw that, and I've had fish tanks for years and years and years, and I never knew that I could just pour something into them and it would clean them. So that's completely new to me. I did not know there was such a chemical that kills this new thing, whatever this magnificent thing is this time, because we had Dr. Carver. He said there was this magnificent thing. And this seems to be another magnificent thing. Only we've got Sanjay Gupta telling us about it this time. So he's probably just as trustworthy as Dr. Carver. You might remember Dr. Carver being the Connecticut head carver, the head coroner carver.
What would I remember him from? I sound very familiar.
From 2012, there was this thing, this magnificent thing that happened in a little town in Connecticut that that changed things forever. It happened right after the.
Okay.
Yeah,
I hear
I
you.
think that it was like this shady thing, or I guess it maybe it's sandy. I don't know.
Yeah. No,
But you know
I hear you. Yeah, I hear
right?
you. Yeah.
But I called up and I promised not to say the B word. I promised not to say any other words that start with any other bad letters. But I gotta let people know at this time that I haven't been truthful with you. I'm not an anonymous caller.
I can tell. I recognize your voice.
Ah, shit. Figures.
Why were you trying to disguise it? You call so little. You call so little. You're like, maybe I can get away with it.
I just thought it was funny. I have a weird sense of humor. You know, I'm one of the many Mox News listeners that think that Steve McClanahan is hilarious. So I get it that not everybody understands this kind of like really shitty humor. But I kind of wanted to lighten the
shitty humor
a little bit if I could, because, you know, we've been stepping in a lot of shit lately, Mike. And
yeah.
I'm on like day 8 of not going out into the madness.
Oh, really? Just stay at home for 8 days, huh?
Yeah, I'm on my marathon. I've broken into the to the preps.
Wow.
I have some pandemic pinto beans that are in the instant panic pot.
Wow.
And I broke into the big huge half-gallon thing of peanut butter. Been enjoying peanut butter sandwiches for the first time in I don't know how long. So yeah, hey Jackie, how you doing? Jackie just asking who this might be.
Yeah.
So
she's a smart girl. She's a very smart girl.
She's a very smart girl. She's a very sweet girl.
Yeah.
She sees the like Pisces probably do, like yourself does, probably sees the good in people before the bad. You know, she's got a very positive attitude, kind of like Steve McClanahan. He's always keeping a positive attitude. Jackie cats.
Whether you like it or not.
That's right, whether you like it or not. And I hear that he has a very, very smooth butt crack now after waxing with the lint roller, man. That's just it. I can't imagine that taking any shit off anybody, but man, probably, you know, when those things are really sticky, yeah. She's the Hopian girl. Jackie's one of them junkies, that's for sure. Yeah, you know that in order to get clean off of the Hopium, you got to stay off that shit for like 2 years, man. It's the hardest drug to get off of.
The
Hopium, man.
Yeah, you can't get off that shit, man.
Walking around all over the place.
Nobody gets
over it. Bernie junkies, and there's Yang junkies, and there's Tulsi junkies, and there's even Trump junkies, man. There's just junkies walking all over the fucking place, man.
Well, it's the thing. Look, it's not that, okay? It's like I said a few times now. It's that you want desperately to like these people. I want to like these people. I want to like the people.
I do too.
You know, I want to believe. You know, I think most people are like that, and I think they want to like the news readers. You know, like their local news reader. They all have like a favorite local news reader and shit. You know. But
the bubble-headed bleach blonde comes on the side. She can tell you about the plane crash with the gleam in her eye.
Yeah, exactly. Glenn Fry, right?
That's right.
Yeah, Glenn Fry.
Dirty Laundry, man. Everybody check out those lyrics. It's exactly what's going on. We have these talking heads that we all kind of trust because they're pretty, and all that. The only thing that they tell us is this shit. The dirty laundry. We love our dirty laundry. Eat your dirty laundry. Because that's all that's going to get on the news is dirty laundry, and those people, those pretty faces, they're not your friends, man. It's Operation Mockingbird.
Yeah.
They had almost completely infiltrated the media in the 70s.
Yeah.
Imagine where we are now.
Right.
Remember when we grew up and we thought that the Russians were the only ones that were propagandizing their people.
Yeah.
And we thought that this different. Or at least I did. Maybe you didn't because you were on the left coast, and I grew up in the middle of fucking in the belly button.
Well, I
Midwest, so we're simpler people, maybe.
I grew up around cops, so I could see there's like a real slimy fucking element.
Sorry,
there's a real slimy element
trauma,
around
dude.
cops,
Hey, that's serious trauma, dude.
They're always fucking with you, and you're a little kid. It's really weird, man.
They're sick people. When we hear about cops dying, like we hear about the average person dying, it's bad. I don't think that's because they have a family and shit. And it used to kind of bother me. It was a conflicting thing because I hated cops, but then I'd hear that they're dead, and I thought, God, that's now they're not gonna fuck with anybody anymore. But man, they had a family. But then I realized it's actually their family. They're not going to beat their kids anymore. They're not going to beat their wife anymore. They're not going to kick the dog anymore. And they'll get a pension, and it's going to hurt for a while, but it might save their lives.
Yeah,
I know that sounds terrible, but that's the truth, man.
Yeah.
These motherfuckers, they're the enemy. They've been at war with us basically my entire life. Your whole adult life.
Yeah,
we've been the enemy, and to them. And they've been the aggressor. We've just been like throwing up peace signs saying, hey, man.
I just want to live my life, dude. That's all.
Right.
Why are you fucking with me, man? Yeah, right. I'm not trying to fuck with anybody. Why are you fucking with me?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Right. These people, especially when you don't call them, and then there's so many people that don't realize that, man, you should not call the police.
Well, it's very dangerous, that's for sure. If you're having problems with your family, you really want to think twice before you ever call the cops, because
especially if your kid's acting out. It's like you've vaccinated the shit out of your kid and they act like a fucking monster.
Yeah.
And they're having one of them breakdowns that they have all the time after being pumped full of pharmaceuticals. If you call the police, man, you're basically saying, "Come kill my kid."
Yeah. Well,
we've seen it over and over and over that they're not there to help. They're there to go home. And if there's ever any idea that they might not go home, you're not gonna stand in their way.
Yeah, I would really think twice about ever calling the cops if you need help with your kid. Call your neighbors, man.
Right. Your neighbors care about you.
I don't know.
Your neighbors know the kid.
It's entirely possible that you should know your neighbors, and if there is a problem, they're going to get there a lot quicker than the police. So, and the police are going to come. They come there with as fast as they can. They're adrenaline junkies, so they've been driving fast to get there. So their fucking adrenaline is already pumping by the time they get to your front door. And then since they're adrenaline junkies, basically they just want to pump that adrenaline up a little more. So
yeah, we're nuts. But anyhow, I didn't mean to call and talk about something else negative because I'm trying to avoid the whole negative nonsense.
Yeah.
I'm eating good, man. I had corned beef last night.
Nice.
And some corned beef hash this morning to go with a couple eggs. So.
Are you watching? What are you watching on the video? Anything?
I'm just a little bit of my regular. I'm sub to a lot of different channels.
No movies, YouTube, no movies or anything.
I'm not a big movie guy.
Yeah.
But if I didn't have anything else, I'd probably resort to movies. Although every once in a while there's a funny movie on.
Yeah.
I really like funny movies.
Yeah, me too.
If I can catch those.
Yeah.
But I kind of have YouTube has fucked me up a little bit. Because or it seems like it. Maybe it's not YouTube, or the internet, or flashing, computer. But I don't seem to have the patience for a movie or the plan to say I'm gonna not do anything for the next 2 fucking hours.
Yeah.
Or 3 hours and watch this movie, and I don't have a DVR, so it's a little bit more difficult. And so like every once in a while I'll throw the Big Lebowski in,
Well, there's lots of movies on the YouTube. They have like, I don't know. I'm not saying that you should watch kung fu movies, but I love kung fu movies, and there's shit tons of kung fu movies on the YouTube.
Well, I'm seeing a lot of kung flu movies on the YouTube right now.
Yeah.
Because that's, there's a lot of people who are talking about the Kung Flu. And because everybody, well, Kung Flu fighting.
Craig pulled that up the other day. That was pretty funny, man.
And I know that there's all the pinkos will be like, oh my God, he's being racist and stuff. Which of course I wouldn't want anybody to be a dipshit about where this came from and some person's suspected ethnicity. That's just insane. So
yeah.
So don't get me wrong out there in Triggerville, because everybody's got their panties in a bunch for the last 5-10 years. You can't, nothing. You can't. They've killed comedy. Like comedians have to be careful about this, about everything that they do.
There's a whole bunch of things that have killed comedy. It's a whole different world from when we were kids, man.
Right. Well, you can't. Everything's got to be politically correct. Nothing can be fun anymore. We're not allowed to laugh at each other because everything's identity politics and everybody, the people who.
You know what it is. You know what it is. I hear what you're saying about identity politics, but you know what it really is that everybody's a fucking victim, and that if you if you somehow like do something that might offend them, then you're just adding to their fucking victimhood.
Right. It's worse than that. Even the people who aren't victims, you got other people who want to tell you how special and connected and in touch they are with their feelings and their inner righteousness, that they will become incensed over other people's feelings that aren't even hurt yet.
That's because they've taken on those other people's victimhood.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they're like, that's how they get social credit in their social circle, by how much they can virtue signal, and it's as disgusting or probably more disgusting than the whole nonsense PC stuff that started. And remember when Bill Maher actually addressed that shit before he became all sensitive?
Yeah.
Good. I don't know.
Yeah. No. Bill Maher. He was not PC at all. He was like the opposite of PC. And then
seems like he is now, though.
And then 9/11 happened, and he fell right in line to be, one of the people, the controlled opposition. He fell right in line to be the controlled opposition.
Wasn't he originally on Comedy Central, and then he got canceled, and then ABC picked him up.
He had a show.
When he fucking went.
He had a show originally, that was called, I'm pretty sure, Politically Incorrect, which is what his show is called now. And
But it got canceled, I think, off of Comedy Central, because he was kind of edgy. And then when he got picked up, and it was probably after 9/11, he got picked up on ABC, if I remember right. And that's probably when he started spouting the horse shit. Then I think he's on HBO or something now. I don't get that kind of stuff, but every once in a while, my brother-in-law will send me a clip that when he's got something decent to say, which is usually there's so much other crap around it that.
Craig. Craig wanted to go see him at a local theater when he was in town, so we went to go see him, and marijuana had just been legalized, right? And I thought, okay, well, maybe he's going to come out and he'll do, a few minutes about weed, because he's supposed to be this big weed guy and legalization and everything. And he said fucking shit. He didn't say shit about marijuana being legal, not one single joke. And I was just like, I was like, wow, this guy is I don't know. He doesn't seem to be who he claims to be, Like I said, he felt right after 9/11, something happened. He said something, and then he got his show taken away or something, and then and then HBO came along and said, "You want a show?" And he said, "Fuck yeah!" And so, I guess he somehow had proved that he was going to fall in line.
Tommy?
Yeah. What's that?
Tommy?
Tommy? What? No, what about Tommy? No, we're talking about...
I heard you talk about a show we saw. I didn't hear what show, sorry.
Oh, no, Bill Maher.
Oh, Bill Maher. I was going to show you about that.
No, Tommy Chong would do fucking talk about marijuana. Bill Maher didn't talk about marijuana at all. You remember that?
Tommy Chong is an autographed.
You got to lower. You can't see it, and it's kind of dark.
All right. Well, here we put it up here.
My ex-wife got a picture sitting on Tommy Chong's lap at a cannabis cup event or something in San Bernardino. She likes to show me that every once in a while.
Right on.
Right on. Autographed ticket and everything. That's fucking killer.
Yeah. Craig drove him around in the limo, right?
Yeah, when I was driving for the limousine company back
then. Oh, dude.
Tommy was cool as fuck, man. I took him to the Seattle Mariners team store.
Was he smoking in the limo?
No, this was right after he got out of jail. He was going to, after the show, the next day when I picked him up at the airport, or to go to the airport, he wanted to stop off at the Mariners team store to get his son some memorabilia from the baseball team. And he's like, "Well, man, Seattle's a pretty cool place." I was like, "Holy crap, I got the real Tommy Chong." It's just like, this is not an act. This is Tommy, man. This is who he is. It was pretty badass.
Wow, man.
Tommy, man, he'd be a fun guest. We got to reach out and try and get him on the show tonight. He's, Citizen Chong is his
more
channel.
weed people. We need some weed people guests.
Remember we were throwing, we headed a joint to the guys from Trailer Park Boys when they were here for the SwearNet movie. High-fiving them as they came down the aisle, Ricky and Bubbles.
Yeah, that was
and
cool.
the girl with the shirt on that said, "I want to blow bubbles."
Yeah. You ever watch those guys? You ever watch those guys, the Trailer Park Boys?
I've seen them a couple of times.
Yeah.
I didn't watch all their shows.
Yeah, Craig's a big fan. Their movie was very funny. SwearNet. Yeah.
I like funny, man.
Yeah, it was very funny. They're very funny. They're very funny guys. Their movie made me laugh very hard. And it was like they did a tour, and we went to see their movie here at like a really famous cinema that had just been redone, and they were on tour. They were touring with the movie, and we saw them live on stage. And like when they were coming down the aisle to go get up on stage for the movie, they high-fived Craig. So it was pretty cool. Yeah. Anyways.
Cool. Yeah. Anyways, I just thought I'd call and lighten the mood a little bit. I don't have much to say, but
yeah, I know it's good to hear from you, bro. I mean, it's always good to hear from you, and I'm glad to hear that you're doing well. How long are you planning on self quarantining or whatever? Not going anywhere?
I'm not. Not. I don't know. I don't really know. Every once in a while, I think I'm going to go out and get some supplies. So I'll probably venture out here in the next couple of days. Kind of waiting. My motorcycle's in the shop right now, and I called to get an update today. Getting a whole bunch of things hopefully done on warranty, and warranty ran up on Monday, so I had to get it taken care of now.
For sure.
I'm basically should be getting a new engine.
Wow.
And yeah. So, but the problem, I called today thinking that it should be done here in the next day or two, and I guess they haven't gotten confirmation on their approval on what they found after they split the case. So the case was leaking, so I got that was covered, and they took it apart and found other issues, which was my plan. And because it's the year of my bike and older had a known issue with can chain tensioners.
Yeah.
And they could shit can up the whole motor at about 25,000 miles if you don't change them. And it's like $1,000 job or something.
Yeah.
The part alone is like almost $600, I think. So
that's sweet. Well, I hope you get a new motor, man. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that's what my fingers are crossed here. I called today, the service manager. They haven't gotten approval on the second half of it on pistons and cylinders and the cam plate kit. So hopefully they'll get approval on that. I'll get basically a bike with a new motor back. Hopefully sooner than later.
That'd be so cool, man.
Yeah, because then I'll get out there. I mean, people are driving around out here. Everybody thinks everybody's shut in, and they're not. I mean, I think most people, for the most part, people are kind of staying staying home more than they were, but I live in an area where I can hear traffic, and
Yeah.
there's traffic all over the place.
There's a lot less traffic, though. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. So,
yeah.
And that's all right. So anyhow, thanks for doing what you're doing. I hope you keep doing it for as long as you can.
Thanks for all your help, and I will keep doing it for as long as I can, until it's just you and me here, bud. Okay?
It's damn near. There's only 20. So.
Well, the YouTube is acting hinky again, so.
It sure as heck is.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's good to hear from you. Yeah, go ahead.
Have a great night, Mike.
Okay. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
All right, everybody. I am going to call it a night. We are got 13 videos done, so that's close enough. And we do this every day, Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. So I hope we see you tomorrow night, same Mox time, same Mox channel. And until then, stay cool, because one of these days this war is going to end. Whichever war it is you're thinking. It's going to end one of these days. Don't worry.
No matter which mouth you feed on a two-headed snake, it still shits the same turd. But lucky for you, you have Mox News. More than 10 years. More than 60,000 videos. Mox News has been filtering the nonsense and illuminating the bullshit from your mainstream media. Turn off your TV and turn on to Mox News. For over a decade, documenting the socio-political events that have etched and carved the pathways that define today's modern mess, Mox News has been providing clarity while faithfully bringing you today's relevant stories 100% commercial-free and subscription-free. And just like Lady Liberty vows to remain free. But at this time, we're asking you for your help, your patronage, and your support to keep the lights on and the videos rolling. For less than 17 cents per day, you can become a basic subscriber, knowing that your donation is truly making a difference that will help continue bringing the news stories that make a difference in your life. Turn on, tune in, and drop a couple dimes today by clicking the link below or visiting moxnews.com and show your support at any level. From a single one-time donation or dedicated monthly subscriber, do it now in less than 2 minutes. All donations are safe, securely processed, and verified using PayPal, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, or Discover Card. As always, we're sure you'll find something of interest each and every day. This holiday season, give the gift of Mox. moxnews.com.